And we're doing it live.
Hello and welcome to From Here to Paternity, the dumpster fire of conversation. I am Scott, the man who watches birds and polishes turds. I'll pass it on to Damien.
I'm Big D, man with the plans. This is Eric.
I'm Eric, the unapologetic geek, and I'll pass it down to Joe.
And I am Joe, editor extraordinaire, defunct. And I will pass it on to our special guest.
And I am Rico, the chain smoking dumbass. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just a little bit of backstory. In doing our Twitter stuff that I'm trying to do, we came across like someone with similar like ideas and had a lot of really great points and had a lot of similar mindsets in the fact that like we really want to have a conversation about things regardless of our ideas, that we're allowed to allow ourselves to have conflicting ideas and still be able to work through it and process that whole thing. And that's exactly Rico's kind of mentality. And so like we just started chatting on Twitter and said like, he was like, hey, I do YouTube. And I was like, you do? So we checked him out and we were like, hey, why don't we do like a recording together? And he was like down for that. And so here we are with our special guest, Rico.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone y'all in listening to this. And it really is a pleasure to be here. I'm honored that you guys invited me. I am all for conversations with just about anybody. Provided they, I can see some degree of sanity in them. You know what I mean? Because there are some people.
You've come to the wrong place, brother.
No, look. Let me put it to you like this: there is the fun kind of crazy, and then there's the oh my god, what am I doing here kind of crazy.
Yeah, when you're having a conversation, it feels like you're beating your head against the wall. Yeah,
exactly. Type of that kind of
Feels like
crazy. You avoid like the plague. I'm good, but if you just got a little quirky, that's fine. I can deal with all kinds.
Right.
You know what I mean? So trust me, I get it. I'm all for conversations, and I'm not a fan of like being like, oh, I will never talk to this person because I disagree with them or some junk like that. Nah, if there's a disagreement, we can talk about it. I'm willing to hash out anything. So you know what I mean? So if there's anything we want to talk about, let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, and I really love that mindset, because I think that's something that
that's what we
we're
strive
across
for.
Exactly. Yeah, we're across the spectrum, and we really again, we can't be better people.
That's the autism spectrum he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like we can't be better people if we're not willing and to allow others to express themselves honestly and learn from that, right? Because again, we have to permit people to make mistakes and be forgiving enough to allow them to make the mistakes. Talk to them about like the differences and have that conversation, because again, we may not have all the answers ourselves, right?
For sure.
So yeah, just like I think like as long as you're an honest actor, right? That to me is the biggest thing. As long as you're an honest actor.
That's what matters most, I would say, is that like there's a difference between like being factually wrong and just being flat out fucking dishonest.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I can't stand people who will just, again, if you got an issue with me, by all means, like have an issue with me. I really don't care, but don't flat out lie about me or lie about what I'm saying or put words in my mouth. Like if you got an issue with something I've said, take issue with that. Don't just make shit up and then take that down. You know what I mean? I cannot stand the dishonesty that a lot of people do engage in. And then and that's the type of person I know I'm not dealing with. I'm like, you have no interest in engaging with me in any honest fashion. So you're not worth the time. But if we disagree on anything on the substance of it, and you coming at me like you the entire time engaging with actually what I'm saying, then we're cool. Even if we disagree, we're cool as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah, you can have your own opinions, just not your own facts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And again, you can have your own interpretation of the facts, right? Like in the sense that as long as you're not saying like the earth is flat, like no. You can you can't say the earth is flat. I know we just got lost 5 people. We don't have that many viewers, but of the ones that we have, we just lost 5 because they're like, these guys are kind of crazy, and then they just found out we're not. No, but you can say you have to say that you could say God created everything, or it happened in the universe. Those are again, or that there was some thing that created because it's beyond what we know right now, and that's your own interpretation, but you still have to go with the process by which the universe was formulated, because we do have those facts. You can't just say no, the earth is only 600 years old and it was made by these space monkeys that sat there and had gator tails and were in love, and it was the birth child of a man named Jimmy. And so,
hold on now. Hold on now. I might subscribe to that religion. What we talk about?
That's actually we just started one.
You've caught my interest. Hold on. Tell me more.
Call Alex Jones. There are lizard people.
That's the Church of Jimmy.
Yeah.
And
today's the day, Jimmy. Today's the day.
Don't forget your
monoatomic
monatomic gold.
Gators, so.
I dig.
No.
But yeah, no, it's abstract concepts that are up to interpretation is one thing, but the facts of the matter on whether or not the sky is blue. I'm not gonna spend an hour going back and forth about whether or not the sky is, unless you're colorblind, in which case that's a entirely different discussion. But if I'm not
gray. It might be gray.
If it's gray to you, I'm not going to tell you you're not seeing gray. But yeah, abstract concepts that are still up to interpretation, that's one thing. That's why I don't debate typically with regards to religious things, because I'm not anti-theist. I just know that as far as I'm concerned, all that stuff's a debate, and if there is God, heaven, hell, whatever, the afterlife or not, I really don't give a shit either way. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Right. But I'm indifferent on that stuff. But that's a big difference between abstract interpretations of things versus you're not going to tell me I didn't just get stabbed if I got stabbed. You're not going to you didn't get stabbed. Yes, I did. I had the wound right here. What are you talking about? Type deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whew. But gentlemen, I wanted to ask, if you don't mind me asking, you each take a turn in answering on this one. Whatnot. It's what inspired y'all to start, your podcast and talking to all this stuff, people's stuff? Because I know what got me going was I got sick of I listened to a lot of different people, and I just didn't like how people talked about things. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just some things irked me. For example, I can't stand people who say a lot of words but have effectively said nothing. That kills me.
Amen.
I've learned how to parse that when I know somebody's going on some long-winded, jargon-laden tangent, and I'm just okay, is there a point somewhere to this? And they made no point, and I saw a lot of that, and I was like, all right, let me get on here. I'm just gonna make my thoughts the world's problem because I can do it better.
I like that mantra. I'm going to make my thoughts the world's problem.
I'm going to pollute the world with what I think.
Yeah.
There's a t-shirt in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? Right?
Yes.
No,
write it down. Another t-shirt idea.
Basically, Rico, what I hear you say is I got fed up with Congress and sorry.
You're not wrong. Fed up with fuck them too. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've made a profession out of talking a lot and not saying anything.
Right, exactly.
God, that's because politics was my original focus. I talk about everything now, but politics was my original focus. And God, in politics, so many people left, right, and center say words but say nothing, and it kills me.
Yep. We can all get behind that.
Yeah.
Oh God. So yeah, what was y'all start?
Who wants to start?
Why we started this?
Yeah, what was
it
y'all
basically us getting back into regular communication and doing just video chats, just hanging out, and we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's put it out there. You know,
Actually,
so
no.
it's
Let's correct that record. So like during COVID, I was getting like, I work in healthcare and I was getting overwhelmed with things. So I started talking with Joe, and because I needed like support, right? And because like I was losing my mind, like everybody was losing their mind. Like I was working crazy hours because everybody was losing their mind. I work in mental health, so like everyone was losing their mind, and I was just overwhelmed and needed like support. So I connected with Joe, and then we reached out like, and we are having like video chats, and then we got Damien and Eric, because we've all like, I've known Joe since second grade. I've known Damien since eighth. Joe and I have known Damien since eighth. And then Joe met Eric in college, and then we all met Eric through Joe. And so we've been friends for a very long time. But you do that Facebook chatting where you don't really connect, but you're just kind of like commenting on people's like experiences. And like Eric and I would have like these like political debates on Facebook and stuff like that. And, you know, like
Bare knuckle.
Yeah.
You'd really have them out. It's fun.
You're the devil. No, you're insane. I am, but you're still the devil. Sure, but you're still insane, right?
We can agree on that.
and so it goes in circles.
Yeah, so we were like, so we all just like with life got disconnected, and so we all just sort of reconnected. And then we were like, you know, we were talking because we're all dads, and we were talking, and we were like, we should record this for our kids because our kids will never get to see this side of us, right? They'll always see us as dads, right? They'll never get to see who we are as. So like, we're like, let's record this for our kids for posterity, just so they can get, when they're adults, they don't need to know it now, but when they're adults,
I don't think they'll be ready for it until they're like 35.
Yeah.
50.
Jeez, yeah.
Maybe when we're dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I feel much the same way in that regard. Like having some kind of record of these times for not just yourselves to go back to and look at to see how much you've grown, changed, if your positions have changed, to see how you used to be. But definitely for the kids to grow, when they grow up, they can see they have access to who you are, the other sides of yourself as well. You know, I think that's awesome. You know, that's hey, kudos to you. That's a partial reason I'm doing this as well. And you know, stream much of everything I do from when I'm streaming like video games to this, that, third is because, you know, I don't expect to leave like a huge mark on the world of in any way, but to leave something behind that says I was here is, you know, that's what I'd like to do.
No, I completely agree with that. That's been my drive for pretty much my entire adult life. And this to me came about because I moved around a lot. You know, I had to move up to Maryland. I was living in Pennsylvania. I was living all over the place. Now I live in St. Louis. And like moving around that much, I lost touch with all of my, you know, circles of friends. And around here, as a stay-at-home dad, it's really hard to connect to other people, like out in the real world. You know, I'll hang out with parent groups, but I'll always be that one odd guy out in a room full of middle-aged women. And as fun as that could be, it's also kind of awkward.
I can imagine.
So like I got to a point where I needed to connect with other people, and I started connecting with people online. And it was Joe who convinced me to start a YouTube channel, and through them I found a whole group of other people like around the world. And then making this podcast with these guys was about like, you know, reconnecting with old friends and, you know, finding that common ground we still have all as adult men in the modern world. And, you know, I'm a stay-at-home dad. Scott had some stay-at-home dad in him. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, just trying to connect as adults. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be. Because when I was a kid, when I was in college, you know, making new friends was easy. Now it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is.
Who you telling? I miss a lot. You'll find many veterans who'll say the same, that they miss being on active duty and whatnot for that reason more than any. Because, you know, while you're in, there's so many people that you connected with that you're living around. It's so easy to create a group of friends and such. But then when you get out or get deployed somewhere else, it's just gone. Especially when you're out, it's just that all those connections. Unless you put in like a lot of fucking effort to maintain those connections, and I don't fault people for struggling to do so because life, everybody's got their own struggles and such they're going through, and it's so much easier to connect to people who are right there in front of you. But once you separate it, it's hard.
Yeah. It's hard to even maintain connections with people that are in the same town sometimes.
Exactly, yeah, it really
Yeah.
is because we've
Yeah.
all got so much going
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
I have been trying to fix that. Like that's
Mhm.
I have depressive episodes where I will shut down and just not talk to anybody, the friends, family, anybody for long stretches of time. I'm trying to fix that. It's hard, but I'm trying. I'm trying to reconnect people, trying to maintain connections, trying to be active on YouTube, trying to keep myself out there because I know I'm miserable when I isolate myself. So
Yeah.
for me, it's a constant battle against myself.
There's a TED talk that talks about the opposite of addiction is connection, right? That like when you suffer with chemical dependence, that you burn so many bridges, you isolate yourself, like you become so isolated in reality, right? And that one of the big things that this person tries to do is work on people developing connection, right? But I think COVID kind of showed that it's the opposite of mental health or mental unwellness, we'll say, right, is connection, right?
Yeah.
Because again, all mental illnesses, like you like when you talk about like depression, like you isolate in bed, right? When you talk about PTSD, you isolate a lot, right?
Yep.
Because again, like the hypervigilance, the depression, the anxiety, all of those like different kind of aspects are so overwhelming so overstimulating that you isolate, right? To keep it down as a means. With anxiety, you isolate because again, all of the fears and stuff like that. Bipolar disorder, like you isolate because you burn bridges because of like the reckless behavior when you're in a manic state or the severe depression, right? You're stuck in bed, right? And then with schizophrenia or like psychotic disorders, like people isolate from or force you into isolation because the behavior is so bizarre, like so atypical from what they're used to, that it becomes scary for other people or concerning for other people because they don't understand it, right? So you're kind of forced into isolation. And also the internal stimuli that the people are experiencing, which I go back to, like whenever I'm working with someone that has schizophrenia, I always tell them that like what they are hearing, but no one else is, because that's true, right? Because it's something that's going off on there, and like when you phrase it that way, people with internal stimuli like that, with schizophrenia and whether it's like in hallucinations, like seem to have such a level of relief because you go through life and everyone telling them what they're experiencing is not real, but it is for them, right? That's like me, like again, you were saying the sky is blue, you know, like if I see the sky is green, color blindness or whatever, like, and you're telling me it's blue, like, no, I see it with my own two eyes. Like how many times, like when you're like
Tell us
in
your
real
truth,
life,
Scott. Tell us your
right?
truth.
Yeah, really.
I
I
will
see this with my
say
own two eyes.
I will say one thing on that, and definitely say this to. I said maybe you could take this with you as well. Maybe you've heard the, maybe you already know, and I'm just preaching to the choir here. I being alone, isolating yourself and such is intoxicating.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
itself is addicting because it's so much easier than forming and maintaining relationships.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part about it, is that it's so much easier to not deal with people
Yeah.
than it is to, because when you involve yourself with other people, that means you, I mean, if you fully reckon with what that means, is that you are taking all, you bear the responsibility of everything that comes with that. That means their problems, their feelings, their experiences, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
And I can, because I'm sure y'all have heard people say like, I don't like drama. Well, people are drama. You
Yeah.
are drama. You like you. The second you involve yourself with another human being, you are accepting their drama too. You can't just half-ass it because then the relationship won't last anyways. No,
Hmm.
you have to fully accept that. But I understand how addicting it is to just not do that. You know, and you are effectively battling yourself because it's both. Because it's not good for you. We know it's not. Like you said, with every specific mental issue, isolation just ends up hurting you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. I completely agree with you, right? And again, here's the like everybody take a drink. Like we're so oppressed by the oligarchy that he said oligarchy. It's the Pee Wee Herman, the Pee Wee Herman word of the day. And so but no, we're so oppressed by the oligarchy, we don't have capacity to be there for one another, right? Because we're all just struggling to survive, right? And like we're all just trying to get through the day, that in order to be there for other people, we need so much more capacity and room, and we're spent, like we don't even, and we'll get into this when we talk, like when we move in to our actual, like we usually do the first 30 minutes of like BSing, and then we'll jump into the actual podcast or whatever. But
Yeah.
like when we get into it, like sometimes we don't even have capacity in order to like be there for our own kids, right?
Yeah.
People like parents just shutting down in front of the TV or on the phone. Like we complain about parents being on the phone all the time, but like they're trying to emotionally regulate themselves.
Yeah.
Because
I will keep talking. I'm gonna move upstairs from the living room because I don't want to basically keep telling my wife and her best friend to not talk too much or play any music. I'd like just keep talking. I'm gonna move upstairs.
No,
Fair
you're
enough.
fine. You're fine, brother. No. Hey, we all have families. Like we trust me. Like we got kids, brother.
It's only a matter of time before my kid comes through the door. So
Yeah. Like the fact that I keep weaponry in here, not like guns or anything, but like large, sharp objects, and threaten my children is the only reason that they don't come in here, is because of fear of their own safety. And so, no, I'm just kidding.
Going off of what it was that Veiny Wombat said there.
Yep.
Yeah,
this right here.
yeah. It's a
Oh,
lot.
that's Helen.
Yeah. It's a lot. When you have friendships, you open yourself up to, like when you're around other people, you're opening yourself up to the criticism and the of
Just the
being
possibility
around.
of being
Yeah.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, the possibility of being hurt. Yeah, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of being hurt. Like, if you say something stupid, somebody's saying something like you're laughing at you about it, or, or if you do something that, people find odd or whatever, you're opening yourself up to pain by being around other people, yes. But there's also the positive side of all of the joy that can come from being around other people. Like I immensely enjoy this podcast. I mean, I realize we're not all in the same room, but we are connecting with each other, and
This is more socializing than I do in my regular life. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's this. What are you talking about? This is my social life.
Exactly.
Right. I just walk around my neighborhood just going,
Stay away.
All
Stay
of
back.
you.
Stay back.
I do want to quibble with the premise though. When I'm alone, I say stupid shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
yeah, but you don't, no.
Oh.
You say stupid shit all the time, but you don't hurt anyone's feelings.
That's
Exactly,
True,
yeah.
yes.
Well,
I don't know.
except-
Sometimes I hurt my own feelings.
I was about to say, actually, you don't hurt anyone who's unwilling for it, right? Who
Yes.
hasn't acknowledged.
You've accepted that you say stupid things.
Right. You have signed off. You have checked that box. Are you willing to endure the pain of these stupid things? I am. Check box.
What's amazing is my wife made the same agreement. She's fine with
Yeah.
me saying stupid shit. I don't know why.
Oh, awesome.
All right, there we go. Now I'm set up.
Awesome, brother.
Awesome.
I wanted to say, on that note, if that's what the topic was going to be, with regards to how the structure of society effectively isolates us from each other, with regards, because you brought up the oligarchy and whatnot.
Yeah, very much.
It is
It's a running theme.
I try to say to people on that regard is that there are both. It's not as deliberate as people would like it to
Right.
believe it is. There are just unintended consequences that we've all adapted to
Right.
in some way, shape, or form. But it's just the unintended consequences because
Yeah, it's just an
think about, like-
emergent property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because think about it like this, right? The oligarchs and such, the rich business owners, yada yada yada, they want, it's the reason why they freak out so much about like lowering birth rates and shit. It's because they want us having kids because they want more workers, they want more
Absolutely.
taxpayers, they want more consumers. But if we're doing less of that because of the structure of society isolating us, it then it stands to reason that they're not doing this on purpose. This is the opposite of what they want. They
Right.
want us to be reproducing and having big families and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? That's why I try to tell you it's not, believe me, it isn't deliberate. It's just the way things are, and it can
The
change, of
incentive
course.
structure.
The incentive
Yeah.
structure, unfortunately, incentivizes them to keep the system going, but at the same time, it causes this is one of those problems that it's causing, and that's the isolation of a big place. That's example is Japan. They are fuck 6 ways to Sunday because of
Yeah.
the way their society is structured and their work culture being so bad. People literally die on the job.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's their work. They don't know the meaning of the word work-life balance, and it has come back to bite them in the ass, like majorly.
Yeah, they don't.
No,
they
preach,
Don't have,
like-
they don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You just
Eric.
articulated something I've been trying to articulate for like a year and haven't like found the right words. The idea that this is just the way society is set up. It's not intentional, but it is just the way it is, and we've got to find ways to fix it, ways to work on
And
it, because everything has trade-offs. And yeah, you just
Everything has
articulated it
trade-offs.
way
And
better
it's-
than I did. So
And it's not just the oligarchy either, because it's like, this is our society is a consumer-based society, and we get what we ask for.
Exactly.
Yes.
We
Mhm.
created this ourselves. Now, yes, the oligarchy may have pushed that along a little bit with this unintended.
yeah, but who
consequence
built the
and-
oligarchy? We did.
Well, yeah, true.
Well,
So
and I'll say like again, I'll say like I agree with you, because again, like if like you hear people say like right now with Twitter, right? Like I hear like I'm on Twitter, I'm the one of us that has to suffer with that, and that's okay. I will be that Jesus Christ. I will. Be
You've
our
already
Jesus
got
Christ.
PTSD, so
And
it's
I-
fine.
right, exactly.
wanna
I will
get
carry that
nailed, Scott.
cross. I will be the martyr. And
Nice,
that's
Joe.
that's cool. That is. What'd you say, Joe?
You just want to get nailed.
I do. Well done.
Yep. You are bearing that burden. I
I'm
say
a
if
kink
you're
like
on,
that. That's my kink.
on that note about it being your kink, just an aside, I feel like if you are on like social media apps like Twitter, like myself and you, it's just that to some degree you gotta like this shit. You gotta like the madness. you gotta be into it. You gotta like being yelled at. You gotta like yelling at people. To some degree you have to enjoy this shit. And anyone who says they oh, I hate it here, then why are you still here, bro?
yeah,
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
hate it.
Why are you there?
Exactly.
You love it. I'm not gonna deny it. I love it. I'm not gonna pretend I don't. I love the madness. I have been dogpiled and yelled at for some shit I've said, and at the same time, I've been a part of it. I've been a part of every type of way you can engage online, and to pretend I'm not into it, it would just be lying. I'm just like, no, we're all addicted to this shit. And anyone who pretends otherwise is lying to you.
Yeah. And no, I like and I hear people crap on Twitter, but what Twitter did was, here's an open space for you. Make it what you will. And we did.
And we
Mhm.
did.
Right? Like we are what made it that way. Right? Because we chose, because again, and it goes into our psychology. We want to feel morally superior, right?
For sure.
We're choosing unhealthy ways by which to deal with our own internal, like so much of it is a projection and of our own, like we were talking, I won't get into details with it, right? Because it's Damien's privacy and stuff like that, but like, and stuff like this. Baked Bean, you're so true.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, that's it.
like
Can't have human connections. At least you can yell at somebody online.
rather
It's
than,
it's the reason why people love shows like Jerry Springer's,
Yeah.
Yes.
the Steve
Mhm.
Wilkos, Murray. We love this shit. Like, let's not mince words here. We love a train wreck. We love you feeling better than that crazy person over there and being able to yell at them, or that person who said something stupid. Oh, you're a dumb fuck. I'm not. Ha ha. We love.
one of my guilty pleasures in college was waiting for the moment that a person came onto the Maury Povich show for the 8th time with a new guy to hear "You are not the father yet again," the guy running off, and I was just like, "Oh, you're
It's
like."
so, it's cathartic.
Yeah.
And again,
It
like
is.
I felt bad for her. I felt terrible for her, right? And I really felt the person I felt most terrible for was that child. Oh, that poor child, right? But like, again, I go back to the ones who walk away from Omelas, or Olames or whatever, by Le Guin.
Ursula Le Guin, yep.
Or yeah. And so like again, we ignore, like, literally in the Maury Povich, show, we ignore the child that is suffering for our own pleasures of this, like, utopia, right, for our own experience. And in Maury Povich, we're literally doing that. And I'm like, like,
If
but
there wasn't a
there's something-
victim, there wouldn't be drama, right?
Exactly.
There has to be a victim, yeah.
What it is we're through these people experiencing the range of emotions that we're lacking to experience in our own lives, because our own lives aren't
Yeah.
very
Nice.
dramatic. Like, we don't have much drama in our own. Like, my life it has been crazy for sure. I'm not gonna. I'm not even going to.
We all have crazy moments, yeah.
We
all
live
crazy-
vicariously through what we see. And, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
We have
So-
crazy moments, but most of the time, I would say we're in a bit of a lull, right? We're just not really experiencing much of anything except for like the bare bones emotions. But then when we see other people being crazy, doing this, that, and the third, we live vicariously through their drama, where we sympathize for the victim, hate this guy, love that person, hope that person isn't the father, hope that person is. We experience all of that shit through them. And that's why we do it. That's why we watch it. That's why these shows will always be popular.
No, it's like
Also-
even if
Oh, go
you're
ahead.
even if you have a very like dramatic, complicated life where everything is just going crazy at all times, you still want that kind of escapism to see other people going through something different. I always used to wonder why my mother, when she was working in the ER, would come home and watch ER. Like, why would you do that? And she's like, it's different. It's not the same. It's a different kind of drama, like, so.
Yeah.
Whereas my
Yeah.
dad, who was a lawyer, he would not come home and watch the lawyer shows because he would spend the entire time just nitpicking everything they're doing wrong.
Yep.
Well, and ER like really like the ER really did get it like really close to right. Not always, but like really.
Well,
close
Michael
to right.
Crichton
So, like,
did, he was a medical man, so yeah.
Well,
I
we
wish-
also like to watch shows that like we can point at and go, look at those people. They're worse off than I am.
They're
Yes.
worse off than I am. Yeah.
Exactly.
Those
right?
people have bigger problems than me, so my problems aren't that bad,
Yeah.
And or I'm superior to them because they're so screwed up or whatever,
Or
there's
they
lots
can
of
be like
reasons.
stupidly rich, but like
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
everything else. Like that's why people
Yeah.
watch The Real Housewives and shit like that.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I have
I
enough
was-
drama in my life.
Yeah. And I will say, having
so
worked
do I.
having worked with and for the government pretty much my entire adult life, I cannot stand how competent the media tries to make the government out to be. I'm just,
Yeah.
I that shit bugs the shit out of me. I'm just like, wait,
Amen.
wait, you can get fancy equipment? When? Where? You can get, people are like moving at a timely manner? What? Like the hell? Every government-based show or anything like that, that shit always blows my mind. I'm like, since when can you just call up for something and get it 24 hours later in the government? What?
Oh,
That's
no,
why I
you
always
don't-
laugh at conspiracy theories,
Mhm.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
reliant on a competent government. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you
My
don't know how
God.
government works, do you, man?
on some they always imagine the government is just this all-encompassing, super efficient, effective thing, and I'm just like, where? Since
It's a
Yeah.
fucking
when?
clown show. What
It's a
happened?
clown.
No, and like especially like when they talk about like the efficiency of the military, and I'm like, wait, no,
Oh,
no, no, no.
God.
When
No,
you've got
no.
soldiers, we went like my
No.
brother-in-law was in.
I come from a
Iraq and
military family. I
Afghanistan.
know.
Yeah, like he was over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he had to buy his own tactical equipment to ensure his own safety while he was over there. Like the stuff that they were giving him, again, because the contracts that they gave out, like
Mhm.
somebody was making money off it, and it put our soldiers at risk. And our soldiers had to go and spend their own money to buy the quality equipment to ensure that they could survive.
Well, it's a
Yeah,
good
'cause
thing we
the
pay them so well.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because the equipment that they give is shit. Like it is
I know.
absolute ass. If you want good stuff, yeah, you got to pay out of pocket and go find that shit.
Yeah.
But the stuff they give is just like no, never been
Mhm.
good.
And so and again, like, you know, our Department of Defense, out of 5 audits, has passed, oh yeah, 0 audits.
And that's if they even let themselves be audited.
Yes.
That's just to be
Oh, yeah.
clear.
I'm pointing over to you over here, and I'm looking at my screen going like, where's he pointing?
Yeah.
Yes, you are absolutely correct.
And that's-
$25,000 for a toilet seat, $10,000 for a hammer.
Oh yeah, no. I like one thing I always tell people, I'm like, y'all do know, like we have like specific budgets, right? And to justify the budget, every time towards the end of the fiscal year, they tell us to spend all the money. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you buy, spend it all to
Mhm.
justify it, and that's how we end up with a surplus of bullshit that we don't need all the time. It's like I try to tell people like it's the military and the government is not as competent as y'all think. A lot of this shit is held up by silly string, fucking chewing gum, and duct tape, and just all around. If this shit was actually thoroughly audited, would reveal a lot of waste.
Right.
Yeah,
And
my
it's- and
wife
it
was
comes-
a
oh, go ahead.
engineer for the government, so like I got a lot of firsthand knowledge about that sort of thing. She was
Yeah.
like building actual like fighter jets and shit. She's like, you have no idea how much just like spit and duct tape is being used to put that shit together.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're talking about my work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ex worked for a department or a portion of one of the departments that like builds the roads and stuff, designs and builds the roads, and the amount of just incompetence and lack of, you know, any kind of work ethic that place. It's like they had like 30 or 40 people who worked there. The place could have been run by 10. You know what I'm saying?
Easily.
It could only took about we were only like 10 people there actually did anything. Everybody else was just sitting at their desk playing fantasy football and, you know, reading articles on Quorum or something, you know, or
No,
Quora, you know. Anyway.
I love the your little story that's in one of our podcasts where you talk about like the guy actually like privatized his. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so he actually, so the expert on like road design or like, you know, traffic patterns and how to design where the roads are going to be and how big they need to be, he actually like outsourced his own job to a group of consultants that do his job for him, and all he does is sit there all day and play fantasy football and fantasy baseball and whatever else he wants to do. You know, like literally, he outsourced his own job. So it's like, why is he even there? You know, why are they paying him 80 grand a year to sit at a desk and play fantasy football? And this was 10, 15 years ago, mind you. So, you know, it was like, yeah, you know, and all he did was check the stuff that came in from the consultants. And I don't even think he checked it. I don't think he read it. He probably just turned it over and said, oh, this is right. So that was his whole job. So taxpayer money, you know.
And a lot of it is a lot of the waste. Just to be clear to anybody watching, it's not out of like some malicious intent. A lot of it is because, it's just the Marine Corps as an example, right? That's my branch, and they've gone, and from what I understand, is for the longest time, the Marine Corps has to justify itself because they've been thinking about just combining the Marine Corps and the Navy into one, just phasing out everything that makes the Marine Corps, and just being like, you're the Navy now. You know what I mean? Or the Army, whatever the case may be. So a lot of it is people trying to justify its own existence. It isn't some malicious, like, I'm not going to put some kind of moral framework on that, whether it's morally right or wrong to do so. It's just, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's, to protect your own security.
So, exactly. Because, I mean, it's a, I've always said, describe the military, at least in the case of America, I can't speak for the rest of the world, it is a jobs program for it is.
No, it absolutely is.
It's a jobs program with a physical fitness requirement. If not for the physical fitness requirement, it'd just be the largest employer in America.
And,
you know
and there's more to it than just like the soldier side of things too. There's so much infrastructure around the military, and you know, just like independent contractors and the military industrial complex. It all feeds into the same machine. So, it's
And-
all a giant jobs program when you really think about it. So,
And not just a
it's
jobs,
huge.
and not just a
Yeah.
jobs program. It puts whole towns on the map. Like
Yeah.
I live in basically
yeah.
bumfuck nowhere, right?
Mhm.
And when the mayor came down, it was this because again I'm involved in politics. I sometimes go and talk to actual government officials. I actually asked the mayor straight up. I said, "What would happen if this base, Cherry Point, Marine Corps Air Station, Cherry Point, North Carolina, if it shut down? What would happen?" He said, "This town and pretty much the entire county would disappear."
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, that was part of why Pensacola it was, even here to begin with, was because of the Naval Air Station and so on and so forth.
Right.
It's just
And it's
the
a
Navy
training base and all
yeah,
that.
training base. If it wasn't for the military, this place would still be just a little tiny fishing village with a drinking problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The military brings business and a lot of it, pretty much everywhere. Like whole towns wouldn't exist without the military bases. So what's up?
I said we're finally starting to get some tourism, some like major tourism in the area, as like the world warms up and this becomes more like South Florida, I guess. But
Yeah.
anyway,
And that's I've talked. I want to actually get y'all input on this. I always want to kind of wonder is like, how do we? Are we going to be stuck like this forever? Where it's like the military bases just have to exist because these towns wouldn't exist otherwise, or are we able to to separate ourselves from the military industrial complex and actually have flourishing businesses without it? Like, what do y'all think?
I think that change tends to be a lot more gradual than we want it to be, and we can look at how it is now and how it's going to be in 10 years and feel like there's no hope, that nothing's going to change. But then like 50 years from now, it'll be a completely different standard, and it's hard to predict what will change and how. And again, it's part of that emergent behavior that like things change on their own through individuals who have just varying degrees of opinions that change over time, and these things do happen, but it's hard to predict how or when, and it's not going to happen like tomorrow. Like we're not going to have like a revolution tomorrow and all of a sudden the military industrial complex will go away. That's not how it works.
No.
Yeah.
I'm with the band.
But I tend to have a lot more hope in the future just because I'm a futurist. I tend to think that gradual change always tends towards the better. The arc of history, all that stuff. So, yeah.
You're a mid-century man living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things for anyone that's watching this, like Eric has his own YouTube channel. We forgot to plug this. Has his own YouTube channel, The Unapologetic Geek. He does a lot of stuff about like sci-fi and like he's a huge sci-fi. He wrote his own book.
I'm a geek.
Yeah, that's right. He wrote his own book, The Paradox. And he also has the Streaming Heap where they talk about like streaming shows. And so he's like our YouTube guy. We're writing his coattails. And so like but yeah, no, and like we kind of talk about like some of our more recent podcasts have been about like the dystopian future movies, right? And how they're warning signals, and we kind of analyze like those movies and what we're seeing now, and what are some of the warning signs that we have as calls to action. And for me, I feel like nothing's going to change until we get active, right?
Yeah.
And we have there's so much, and I see this even like in small, like when you talk about like big parts, right? Like I see this on an even smaller local level. I'm part of the PTA, and you've got like maybe 10 people out of like anywhere from 700 to 1,400 parents in our school. You have maybe 10 of them that are doing all of the work of the PTA for 700 plus kids. And because it's that I'm exhausted, and someone else will take care of it, right? And so on a microcosm, we have that in our everyday life, right? Rather than being engaged with our kids. And I know parents absolutely want to, and trying to find time and like work-life balance and work lives and the owner class, like being oppressive towards the labor class and stuff like that.
They all have to compartmentalize. Yeah.
Right. Right. And so again, like then start a union, right? For your, work on starting a union, right? And then that way you can like argue for your rights, right? Get active, right?
Yeah.
If you want change, you know, kind of like
Get up,
was it
stand up.
Mahatma Gandhi? Yeah. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you
Stand
want to
up
see in the
for
world."
the
Right?
truth.
It starts with you, right? So if we all like, instead of just like screaming into Twitter, because that's fucking meaningless.
I see that
Get-
as like
get up-
screaming into the void. You know?
Same
Yeah.
thing. Old man yells at cloud. You know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get up and actually go to your city council meetings.
Mhm.
Get up and go talk like you did. Like I've talked, you know, with politicians about like when we're trying to do, you know, get rights for nurse practitioners in Florida, like and trying to get like money out of politics and stuff like that. Like I've talked with politicians, and again, it doesn't take much because most people don't talk to their politicians.
Yeah.
You know, I think I earnestly believe that we have to get money out of politics, and that's one thing that I think, because again, it sets up an incentive structure, right? Like you're talking about, like with the military. I'm still pointing over to your picture, right? But you're talking about like the Rico about the military. You've got generals that are
Which way is
setting
that?
up these programs, right? That then go and when they retire, get multi-million-dollar jobs with these defense contractors, right? And because they made them all of this money, now they're getting rewarded by getting this
Mhm.
like cozy job,
Yeah.
right?
On
Where
that
they
note,
just have
was
to go and have lunches and dinners with politicians and all the people
Was-
they've made connections with.
yeah, on that note, with regards to incentive structures, I try to tell people like this with regards to like why the issue isn't so much as money in politics as it is, because I don't think that captures the crux of the issue is it's how it works. So legally, anybody can run for office.
Mhm.
Legally, just about anybody. Effectively, the only people that can run for office are wealthy people.
Right. Or
Because
people that are supported by wealthy people.
or people that are supported by wealthy people. Because, like, just an example, I want y'all to take a guess. How much do you think a North Carolina state, not federal, state senator makes?
Ooh.
40,000 a year or something like
Yeah.
that.
Nope, like 13,000.
Oh
Yeah.
crap! I was
I'm
thinking
not-
like city council level 13,000. You know.
Nope.
Wow.
I think I was
they
just
don't-
watching your video on that.
Yep. As it stands, this is why people always make to be like, oh, politicians shouldn't be paid so much. I'm like, no, they should be, because
Yeah.
as it stands, most people can't live off of 13,000 a year. You know what I mean? But the people
a
who
lot
can,
of that a lot
What's
of
that?
that comes down, sorry, just to interrupt real quick, a lot of
Yeah,
that
go
comes
ahead.
down to the fact that originally most of those jobs weren't considered full-time jobs. Like,
exactly.
being a senator, and even in the you know the at the federal level, was not considered originally to be a full-time job. These people were expected to go back to their state and run their business or their farm or their ranch or whatever, or
Yeah.
and only come back to the capital, you know, 3-4 times a year or whatever it was, because they weren't considered.
No, that's
it
the
wasn't
way it
considered
worked for
something
about
that was
100
necessary.
years.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like which came first, chicken or the egg
Yeah.
type of deal, that it's always been business owners or people who are wealthy enough and had the
So,
luxury
because
of
they had to pay for their own travel. Quite
they had to
often,
pay for their
yeah.
own travel, their own a separate house
Yeah, living
in
expenses
near
though,
the
yeah.
capital, the whole nine, and
Our
That's
founding
what-
fathers were all wealthy farmers. Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
all wealthy farmers and business owners and whatnot.
Yeah.
They weren't like this wasn't just your average Joe rising to the occasion and is now the president. It's always been some wealthy, well-connected, well-to-do person, and that's how we ended up with an oligarchy of sorts of just wealthy, well-connected people or sellouts being in the system. It's like you don't even get a place at the table as it stands, at least before the internet and crowdfunding, unless you sold out. Like you
Well, yeah.
had to. You didn't have because otherwise, I even say I don't know y'all feelings about Joe Biden, but I remember an interview with him like a long time ago. He'd been complaining about the fundraising structure for a long fucking time. Like he complained because the way it is, you spend so much time phone banking, phone calls, doing this, that, and the third to fundraise just to be able to for your next campaign or the re-election or whatever, that you don't get to spend as much time as you actually need to be engaging with your constituents, writing up actual laws, investigating this, that, and the third. And the only people that can do that are the people who've already been bankrolled by so and so or come from a wealthy family.
Very true.
You know what I mean? The incentive structures point to yeah, we all legally can, but effectively the only people that really realistically can be in office, like actually be in office the whole fucking time, are wealthy people, and that's what needs to change. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have proposed changes to it, ideas and such, but that's what I mean. Is that we need to get to the crux of the issue, not just the on its face money in politics bad,
Right.
but more so what
solve
is
the
why
cause, not
How
the
it's being-
symptom.
yeah,
right.
exactly.
why
Yes,
is so much
absolutely.
money involved in politics, and that's
Right.
why.
No, and I agree with you. I agree with you because I think it's like you're right.
That's the
Like,
argument me and Scott
money-
have been having for years.
Yes. Well, and again, like the you know, when we get into these like 5-second like sound bites, and those become, you know, and I love how you said that, right? Because again, just simply saying money in politics, that's okay. What do you mean by that, right? Like, right. And so I like your clarification on that, because you're everything you said, I completely 100% agree with, right? Because the DNC, there was a leaked schedule of a new DNC member or a new congressional member, like what their schedule is, right? And only something like 2 hours was devoted of their 8-hour day was devoted to actual lawmaking. The rest of it was phone banking.
Phone
Yeah,
banking,
you're a
phone
professional
banking, phone
campaigner.
banking.
That's all you are.
Right.
You're that's all you are.
And your work time, your service time is only 2 years, right? And you're trying to raise millions of dollars because again, the corporate media makes billions off of that, right? And that's why they're wanting to lengthen the the campaign. Like once a campaign's done, they're already talking about the next campaign.
Yep.
And you're
Yep.
like, what? Because again, that's how they make money, right? Especially like these CNN, MSNBC, Fox, like all of these like 24-hour political, like, because again, like they're not even news shows anymore. They're 24-hour politics shows, right?
Yep.
And like, because they're not even like really.
Yeah, they haven't been reporting news for years.
And they're not even
They're getting
politics
rid
shows.
of
They're political
investigators.
gossip shows, is what they are.
Yes.
They're not even
Right.
talking
Punditry,
about
yeah.
facts
Because
anymore.
Because it's cost effective. Investigative reporting is incredibly expensive, and we're losing that, right?
Yep.
Right.
That's
again,
why I highly recommend like ProPublica. I don't know if y'all didn't know them. They like people, the smaller news outlets that do dedicated investigative reporting. Like the ProPublica, Vice, I'm trying to
Intercept.
think. It's the Intercept. There's a few others, but like
Yeah.
they do investigative reporting that the mainstream media just doesn't do anymore.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
and-
Eric,
and-
do you know of anyone on the right that does like invest any groups on the right that does,
I know
like,
Reason does.
have
Reason,
investigative-
but Reason's more
Reason-
libertarian than right. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say one other thing is that really needs to be parsed better because it's corruption in politics.
Yes.
So I remember talking to somebody. He was a Republican. He said if we put in term limits, that'll solve the corruption. And I'm like, no, that's not how that. You can be corrupt from the day you step into office. Like even if you're only given 1 day, you can be the most corrupt sellout motherfucker on the planet in 1 day. You know what I mean? No, the solution to that is you have to acknowledge what is corruption, and corruption, as an example, is like conflicts of interest. You know what I mean? In the military, if you have any conflicts of interest, you will lose your security clearance, right? You can't, and I mean not just you. If your close family members have conflicts of interest, your friends have conflicts of interest, any person that they can determine is close to you that could potentially compromise you will result in you not getting a top secret or secret security clearance. Whereas in government, it turns out if motherfuckers vote for you, it doesn't matter. You can come in,
You can
anybody
be as
can get
corrupt
elected.
as the day is long. Yeah.
The day is it turns out that same standard just does not exist. If you get elected, you will be automatically given a secret or top secret security clearance. Period. And that is a huge oversight.
Well, and again, like you know,
You found a glitch in the matrix there. Yeah.
well, see, here's the problem: is our politics, and this is what we don't hold a standard to. Our politics requires, like us as people, require our politicians and those in politics to have ethics. and we've gotten away from the construct of
Yeah, we don't
ethics.
vote based on ethics, though. We
Yeah.
vote based
No.
Or
on
policy
sound
or
bites.
anything.
No,
We,
it's
we
just
vote, we vote
feelings.
based on team,
It's
right?
just the clown show now. We're just,
Yeah.
you know,
bread and circuses, man. Bread
Yeah.
and circuses.
Oh yeah,
No.
no, it's. I wish people were more interested in specific policies and
Mhm.
ethics, but unfortunately, people are more motivated by ire, by their
Yeah.
eye. You know what I mean? By
That's
who,
how we
like,
get Donald
I-
Trump. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't. It's I hate you so much that I'm going to vote for this guy. That's awful as well. You know what I
but
mean?
because he pisses you off.
because
That's where we
I'll
are.
even go
yeah.
against my values. I'll vote
Exactly.
against my values.
Amen.
against-
100%.
that's
Yep.
what people do all the
Mhm.
fucking time. You know what I mean? It's hyper partisan politics. My team better than yours, or your team. I know. Again, I don't know y'all's political leanings, anything like that in the third, and I'm not gonna make any assumptions. I just know, in my experience, that people's brains turn the fuck off the second you start. Like, if you say Democrat or Republican, their brains turn off. Like, I've talked to enough people
Yep.
to know, policy wise, that a lot of people support some pretty good policies, at least in my experience. Like, but then the second you bring up a partisan talking point, like you say the name Hillary Clinton, brain turns off. Bad. There's just Hillary Clinton bad, DNC bad, Democrats bad, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, well, am I talking to the same person anymore?
Perfect
that.
example of that.
Yeah.
Perfect example of that. AOC and Matt Gaetz have twice posted a bill trying to get representatives, trying to get people in Congress not being able to have to trade, right? Like, so
Yeah,
their
the
stocks have to go into a mutual-
insider trading.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? They're trying
Yeah.
to stop that, right? But AOC is incredibly charging to the right, and Matt Gaetz is incredibly charging to the left. So just because those two brought up this bill, both sides are against it.
Yep.
When you
But
should be
if you
thinking
were
of it
to
the other way around. It's like you got the extremes on either end agreeing on something. We should all agree to it.
And
Yeah.
the reason that they agree to it is neither one of them takes corporate money.
Yep.
Neither one of them takes corporate funding. Like, look, I don't agree with Matt Gaetz. Like, him putting on a gas mask, like, in the middle of Congress, I'm like, that's a fucking moron, right?
Yeah.
And like, he's from, he represents Pensacola, which is like 3 of our hometowns, and 2 of us still live there. Like he and Joe Scarborough have been our representatives.
Yeah, I can't
Oh, God
stand
help
that
us
man.
all. So, anyways,
He's
uh,
fucking Walmart friggin'
Right.
butthead is what he is.
exactly. Like, I love that moniker you've given him,
Right.
Walmart butthead. And so, like, because
Wish butthead.
he's right, he's the GoBots version of butthead.
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
the dollar
the
store
wish.com
butthead. He's the
butthead.
dollar store
Yeah.
butthead. That's what he is. He's the dollar store butthead.
Yes,
So
yes.
so anyways, like, cannot stand that guy, right? Don't
Mhm.
and everything. But I love that.
And I
fucking
can't
bill.
stand AOC, just for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's my thing. It's like it's all about for me, it's all about the policies. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it is about the
I don't
policies. It's what it should be about. Yeah.
That's what it should
Right.
be. But I don't give a shit who you are. If Donald Trump said, "Hey, we're gonna ban insider trading," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, brother, let's fucking go." You know what I mean? But I don't care. It's all about the policies. Unfortunately, most
Nobody-
people aren't like that.
Yeah, nobody votes on policy anymore. They vote
Nobody
on
votes on
personality.
policy.
Yeah.
They vote on personality, on how they personally feel about a motherfucker, and
Mhm.
and I don't know how to fix that because people just turn off their brains. Like, the
that's-
best I can do is
It's
try to talk to people, but you know.
it's
That's why I
part of
think
the-
it starts with us, like being able to convince other people. Like, it's something that has to happen from the ground up, not from the top down. Like, it's
Yeah.
not something you're able to change institutionally. It's just something that you got to change enough people that they will want that change and that they will work for that change as a group. So that's how you affect change. And again, it's really, really gradual. It's really painful. It's really easy to lose hope.
It's
Um,
exhausting. It's definitely
it's
exhausting,
very
for
exhausting.
sure. But it's a job it has to start somewhere with somebody.
I'm
If
not
you
gonna
make-
lie. I've lost a lot of faith when Donald Trump got elected. I lost a lot of faith in people,
Yeah.
just in general.
Yeah.
But
I will
I've been
say,
crawling back from that. I've been trying to find my way back.
Yeah, no,
People-
what's up?
People today seem to make, and this is a society observation, seem to make more decisions based on feelings than thought in general today than they used to. And I think part of that comes back to the language of our time versus the previous generations, where when people used to have a discussion, they would use the words I think, I think, I think. They didn't say I feel. They said I think. I think about this. I think this about this. I think this about that. I think this about what you're doing. Now we all say I feel this and I feel that. And language can have a lot to do with how our brains interpret
Yes.
things. And if we say the words I feel all the time, and that's what everybody else says, then that's what we base our decisions on, is what I feel instead of what I think. So, you know,
So
I
loss
think we
of
need to get
critical
back
thinking.
to, I think we need to get back to us, at least in part, to saying more I thinks and fewer I feels when it comes to things. You know, I think
Yeah.
this about this, you know.
I think that one of the things
There we go,
that,
Scott.
yeah, right?
Starting with
I
you,
think-
brother.
The change
I think
starts with
that's a
you,
really-
Scott.
I know,
Yes.
right?
I'm
that's-
starting with the man in the mirror.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Oh, Damien, we talk about gates and like we're just talking about all kinds of like child touchers,
Pedophiles.
Like, so, good lord, man.
Alleged.
Alleged.
Yes.
Alleged. Don't sue us. Alleged.
Yes,
Alleged. Dear God, alleged. No, and like and Paris Jackson, I have nothing but like absolute love and support for you. Go girl. But like I mean that earnestly, not facetiously. But no, like with what you said, Damien, and Eric, this kind of goes into a lot of what you talk about. I think that one of the things that may have subconsciously motivated that, maybe, I don't know, I'm just pulling something out of my ass on this one, but like,
Is that what we do here?
yeah,
You know, of course.
my
Well,
hand is
it's
up
real.
all the
Clown show
time. Might as
after
well
all.
pull
We're-
something out for everybody else.
Yeah, we're pulling
no,
stuff
but-
out of all kinds of orifices on this clown show. So
Right.
Yeah.
Ta-da. But no, like
Polish it, Scott. Polish it. Come on.
polish that turd.
but no, like so when we started getting into this construct of like thought police,
Mhm,
right, and that we're attacking people for their thoughts,
mhm,
right, and judging people for their thoughts,
Mhm.
right, that could have been a subconscious motivation for us to start changing our language to I feel,
mhm.
because attacking someone's feelings is a lot harder. Like you can't like to sit there and say change your feelings or change how you feel about that. I think most people acknowledge that's a much more difficult thing than to change a thought or a thinking. And so it becomes a lot like it becomes more difficult to argue that point, right? Or at least to like feel like you can change that point, right? So it could have been a defensive approach.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
say-
I don't know.
And
but
I agree that it's
I'm just
easier to
throwing that
change a
out.
thought than a feeling. It's just, you know, but we need to start, and that's why it's more important to use like terms like I think, because you can
Absolutely.
change a thought.
Absolutely.
And thoughts breed feelings, you know,
What-
and
that's-
feelings breed thoughts. It goes both ways, but you know, go
That's
ahead.
the thing. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing about that though, right?
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to people being open with regards to their feelings and being the motivator, because it's like you can have it both ways, I think, right? So like I think that some form of a healthcare for all type system would be good and better than the system that we have. And I think this because I feel like people should have that. You know what I mean? It's the problem is what what a lot of people do, right, is they get defensive because their feelings are obviously, when the more personal it is for you, the harder it is to break away from it, to admit you're wrong, this, that, and the third. It's just ideally what you want to do is make sure that the thing that you feel strongly for is backed up by facts and evidence. Like I can say that like the CBO, for example, has proven that the Republican controlled CBOs have pointed on numerous occasions that a single payer healthcare system would be better than the system that we have, would be cheaper than the system that we have.
Anything would be better than the system we have.
Yes.
Anything would be, damn near anything would be better than the system that we have.
Witch
But I-
doctors dancing in circles around fires would probably
would be better and cheaper than what we're spending now.
Exactly.
I'm this close to starting my practice as that, Damien. So like,
Yeah, so it's
Get out
like,
the candles and the sage, Scott. You can
right.
oh yeah, nah.
You know what? Actually,
go put some jars of water out in the full
I got the
moon so you can
sage
get
here.
some moon water.
I got the sage and I got the candle. It's
There you go.
Florida. It's Florida scent. And so-
That'll be a world cheaper than what people are paying now for next to nothing.
Yep.
right. And,
Yeah, but-
you know what? We might have similar outcomes.
Exactly.
It might have the same damn outcomes for way less. But yeah, no, it's like there's it's you can have both, but you got to make sure that the thing you feel strongly for is backed up by evidence. Because a lot of problem is when
Yeah.
people feel strongly enough, they just forego the evidence because they just
Right.
feel strongly. They have a personal attachment to this particular outcome or their idea of the outcome or the system as it is because of how. Because a constant thing I've talked about with other people before is people become attached to the way things are because it worked out for them.
Yeah.
So
Right,
they
very
you know what I
much
mean? It works. It works for me. So if it's not working for you, then that just means you're failing. It's not the system. It's not the structure. It's just the way things are.
Yeah, you're just not working hard enough or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not working
You need
hard.
to
enough.
pull yourself up from those bootstraps.
Yeah, it's because it works for them.
Yeah.
It worked
I'm
out
too
for
fat.
them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I feel that, brother. I got myself a gut too.
But like,
But,
I tend to
You
think
have
that
to put it
we
up.
as
Then-
people want to believe that we're all, empiricists, that we formulate our opinions, especially our political opinions, based on facts and evidence, when really it's the other way around. I think everybody, including us, starts from a base of how we feel.
Exactly.
And then we build our political identity around that. And then we try to find facts that support that. And it takes a certain kind of ego strength to actually seek out the facts that are going to go against what you feel and what you believe.
Bingo.
And I think that's what real empiricism is like, and that's fucking hard. And most people can't do that.
It's hard. It's the truth because it's people because people don't like being wrong for one. No one likes being.
Yeah.
No one likes being wrong. No one likes feeling wrong. Feeling like, ah, man. That's why people, when they are called out after having said something wrong, will double, triple down on it and whatnot. Is because there's nothing worse than it. No worse feeling than like, shit, I might not be as smart as I think I am. I might not. I might have gotten this wrong, or it's especially to the degree if like their wrongness has hurt somebody, then they have even more incentive to not believe that because then no one wants to believe that they're the bad guy, that they've done anything wrong. It's why a lot of politicians will defend the system, the structures as it is, because again, not only did it work out for them, but if they have to acknowledge that they hurt somebody, that might mean that they're not as good of a person as they think they are.
Yeah.
And they don't want to think that. No one does, not just politicians. No one wants to think that they might not be as good of a person as they think.
No, I
We're
am
all the
that
heroes
asshole.
in our own story, right?
Exactly. We're all the heroes in our own stories. And so that, like you said, it takes a level of.
Except Joe, he's the asshole.
Yeah,
Ego strength. It takes ego strength. Yeah.
It takes a certain.
I'm the
amount
villain
ego
of the
strength.
story.
It takes a certain level of ego strength to
wearing
be
all
able to
black, so.
resist that.
And it's hard.
No.
It's so fucking hard.
One of the things I
'cause
really respect.
Dude,
Oh, go
feeling
ahead.
wrong is like being right. Something like you over the head with, and shows that you are wrong, and then the humiliation sets in, and you feel like shit. You know. So
It's humiliating.
Well,
I've been-
Go
ahead.
ahead.
And
go
it
ahead.
depends,
Go
too.
ahead, Go ahead.
it depends too on what it is and how ingrained into your worldview it is, right?
Yeah.
Like religion or something along those lines.
Yep.
If you've been raised in that particular view and that is the only right way, and then someone comes along and is showing you otherwise, I mean, it breaks your world,
Exactly. No one wants
Because
to
that
let
becomes
go.
part of your identity.
It
right?
becomes part of your identity, and nothing feels worse than an attack on your identity, your very sense of
Yes.
self. It was because if someone comes along and tells you that the way you've been living your entire life is wrong and been a lie, your knee-jerk reaction is going to tell them to fuck off. Like, no, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's the opposite of this, where there are people who, the more you tell them they're wrong, the more convinced that they're right. You know what I mean? Then there's that. There are just people who they see everyone yelling at them, telling, "Hey, you're wrong about this," as more evidence that they're right.
Conspiracy.
You know what I
theory.
Yeah.
That's how conspiracy theorists come along. Is that they're trying to censor me. Because I'm right. I'm telling the truth. I'm the truth teller, telling it like it is. Like, no, buddy, it's just you're dumb as fuck and saying things that are influencing people in the wrong way that might get somebody killed.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like with COVID is the best example of this. Like my contention of just as a preface what I'm about to say with this fact with regards to me, in the military they give you at least a dozen fucking different vaccines.
Yeah.
All right, I have been inoculated from everything from God's touch to the devil's fucking shoving his arm up my ass. I'm inoculated to all of it.
The
You know what I
devil's
mean?
fisting.
Yeah, the devil's fisting. I am inoculated to all of it. So I'm pretty like I'm pro vaccine in that I was just like, believe me, if there was a vaccine that they were trying to do like to kill me or brain control me, they'd have already put it in me. But here I am, still a free thinker, still alive. You know what I
See,
mean?
but the conspiracy theorist would say that you're just toting the line kind of thing. You're saying everything you're saying because you've been brainwashed and are under
because
control.
I've been,
yeah.
I met a guy who straight up told me that they're trying to put chips they put microchips in the vaccines so they can control you. And every fucking time I hear those thoughts like that, I ask them a simple fucking question: control you for what?
Yeah,
Pay,
really.
to pay
Why?
to pay, like why? What? To make us pay taxes? We already fucking do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and pay taxes while getting next to nothing in return for it? We already fucking do that. To work shit jobs, getting paid absolute dog shit and barely make ends meet. We already fucking do that. Like, what could they possibly do to us that they aren't already doing?
Dude, okay, so first off, let's talk about the science behind that.
Yeah.
So first off, if you get like, and again, this isn't everyone, but if you get artificial things in your body, not always, but a lot of times you'll have to be on immune suppressants because your body will see it as a foreign object and will attack it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a chip in your blood, like, you will have a blood clot and die. So, like, first off, a lot of us, especially in older age, our arteries are kind of narrow because of all the fatty foods that we have, right? So you start adding stuff in there, you're going to increase the fact that people are going to die from heart attacks, right? And strokes and all of this different stuff, right? And then on top of it, I love your point. To what aim?
Yeah.
Because like you said, we've got cell phones. Like, they already track us for fucking everything.
For everything.
We just found out.
We have our tracking devices right here. You know?
We just found out that, like, TurboTax and the tax places are selling our information to people. Like,
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah.
selling our data, right?
But,
so, like,
why
do they need to track us? They already can.
On the chips thing again, it's also physically not possible to inject a chip of any size into your body through that little tiny needle that they use for a vaccine. Yes, they do make little itty bitty tiny chips, but not that small, not really, not that.
Nanotech's not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
nanotech's
nanotech
not there
ain't
yet.
there yet, yeah.
Hey, I have seen Jack Reacher and Mission Impossible, and I've seen those movies. Okay,
And
Yeah.
then there's the
and
secondary
movies are
thing
always real. That's why there's
Resistance
Blue
is
Man in
futile.
space,
Yeah.
and we're trying to get unobtainium.
Yeah.
And then there's the secondary thing of how would that chip do anything? It would have to travel to your brain and be lodged in exactly the right place via your bloodstream, somehow. It's like there's all kinds of like this is ridiculous. It won't work. It's
how
not
does it
possible.
go through the capillary system
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
into your
Yeah.
brain?
Well,
How does it pass through the blood-brain barrier?
That's
Yeah,
what they'll,
people-
they'll,
You
they'll
don't
change.
know the physics or the biology of it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
not
why they'll
possible.
very often say it's all in the Wi-Fi and it's all in the radio
Yeah.
signals
Yeah.
and shit.
People a certain kind of person loves conspiracy theories because it makes them feel like they're in the know of something
Yes,
that nobody else
exactly.
knows, and it's their
They
way of
have the
making
hidden
sense of a
knowledge.
chaotic world that they can't make sense of. And we all live in that same chaotic world. We just have different ways of coping with it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I
we
said
didn't properly educate them, so they feel less than. But now by having conspiracy theories, now they feel that they're up there with the intellectual elites, right? And now they have something, because these intellectual elites, as they phrase it, and the globalists and all this stuff, they have something that the other person does not. And now by having this conspiracy like information, they have the secret knowledge that the intellectual, elites and the globalists that they don't have, right?
Yeah.
And so they're getting, like, instead of going and getting like educated on like the true facts, they're getting the secret knowledge, right?
Well,
And
that's because they don't want to be seen as they don't want to see themselves as sheep because
or less than, right?
or
Absolutely.
less than they, because it's like there's a certain mindset among these people where they really it's just in a habitually contrarian mindset. They can't help but take the opposite of whatever the mainstream is. And I'm like, well, if there's one thing I've learned about life is that if it's mainstream, it's because we've tried everything else and it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I said before, I put out a tweet about this a while back. I said, it's only a matter, I mean, they actually already have, I've seen this before, but it's only a matter of time before it becomes mainstream where they start attacking water treatment facilities. And I'm like, bro, because they're putting stuff in the chemicals in the water and blah blah.
The whole fluoride conspiracy, yeah.
The fluoride conspiracy. And I'm like, if the fun fact about history is that before we started, curing water and whatnot and treating water, water used to kill us.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
It was
You
essentially
can't-
poison for most people.
It's essentially
It still is
poison
in
for-
places like Flint, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have at least us humans, animals do, but us humans do not have the bacteria in our bodies that can fight off the stuff that's in water the way animals do. They can drink fucking standing water, but we can't. That shit will flat out fucking kill us.
Yeah,
and then that's why
we
came
grew up
with
in
water.
relatively sterile environments. We're all
Exactly.
victim of the
You know,
hygiene hypothesis. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know the science specifically behind how water treatment works, but I understand that, you can't just drink rainwater off the ground. You know what I mean? I know I have the sense to know that if I drink that, it will probably make me really sick or kill me. You know what I mean? And I trust the system insofar that they have an incentive to keep us alive, because the idea that they want to kill us all makes no fucking sense in any conceivable way. Like,
They
I
want
know
the exact opposite of that, yeah.
Yeah, they want us all alive, working and buying stuff and paying taxes. So every conspiracy that goes along the lines of they want to kill us all makes no fucking sense.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
like-
they're lizard people. They want to take over the world, so they want us out.
Oh
So
my
just-
god, yeah, basically. Like,
Just wait
don't
till
get me
till
wrong,
when they can replace us with robots, it'll all change.
it'll all change. Then they'll get rid of us.
Hey, don't bring robots. Don't bring my people into this.
But yeah, no. And there's actually something I wanted to ask you. I think I was trying to make sure I got everybody's names right. Eric?
That's me, Eric.
That's it, Eric, the sci-fi guy. I wanted to ask you something about that with regards to your futurism, because I am pretty pessimistic when it comes to futurism, because all I see is rich people tourism, like with regards to space travel and just intergalactic slavery. You know what I mean? Just an expansion of what we already do here, but even worse, because you have none of the protections, and
Yeah,
you're
I mean-
likely, you know what I mean?
No, technology can't solve human nature. Human nature is still going to be human nature. We're still going to be assholes
Right.
even when we go to space. Yeah, that's true.
Assholes do it,
Be
assholes do.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'd be all for the futurism that you see, that you can imagine, especially space travel and whatnot. But I'm like, first we might want to deal with all the problems we have here, specifically with regards to the incentive structure that makes us just do horrible shit to each other.
Well, the problem is that the genie doesn't go back in the bottle. Like, technology is going
No.
to progress whether we do or not.
it's gonna
it's
gonna
keep
keep
happening.
going. Yeah.
And every new technology usually starts as a wealthy commodity, like something that only the super rich can have. Like in the 80s, it was only like millionaires who had those big old brick 80s cell phones, and now everybody's got one in their pocket. I've seen homeless people with freaking cell phones,
Yep.
That's how technology progresses in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do unless we change our whole society structure. That's just the way it's going to be.
The technology is always going to keep advancing, no matter what.
Yeah, but we can't stop that.
I dig. No, then in which case, for me, it's just like, we really got to deal with the incentive structures, because as it stands, it is at least, again, these rich bastards have every intention, and if they already could, they would have, like automating everything and putting everybody out of work with no alternative for the people who've been put out of work. Like they as far as all they care about is what makes them the most money, and the long-term ramifications of that be damned. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like,
It's go
we
ahead.
have to make politics. We have to stop the Nancy Pelosi approach to politics, where you go into politics to outdo the S&P better than even Goldsmith or Gold. What is the
Goldman
She only got
Sachs?
into politics
Sachs,
because
thank
she
you.
wanted to fill her freezer with ice cream. That's the whole
Yeah,
reason
exactly.
she got
Yeah.
into
But no,
politics.
she's doing better than Goldman Sachs, man. Like, she is
Yeah.
doing better on the stock. So what we have to do is we really have to, like, to me, I think we really have to sap away the ability for government officials, and this, like, for the military also, that we have to strip away the ability to make it an avenue by which to become wealthy and rich and part
Yeah.
of the oligarchy,
Completely strip
right?
that away.
Because then what that does is because those people that want that will not go there. They'll stay in the private sector.
Exactly.
And the people that actually want to serve, because that's the aim of government, is to serve others, right? And that should be the aim of religion and faith too, is that you're in it not for your own personal gain, but for service to others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
you'd still
the
have
same-
these like rich assholes who go into politics and who like run for president just to get a book deal. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
that's
that's what
true.
Trump was doing. That's honestly
No,
what Trump was
I
trying to
completely
do.
agree. I think that
Right.
that's all
He
Trump
didn't
was trying to
want
do was
be the president. He was like, oh,
boost his
crap.
business and boost his
Yeah.
profile.
Exactly.
I
He
want to.
accidentally got to be president.
I
Yeah,
want to. I want
exactly.
to. I want to tell y'all that's actually like objectively true.
Yeah.
I forgot
so.
the name. I forgot the name of his personal lawyer who went to jail because of him. But he straight up,
Michael
Cohen.
Cohen, I think it was.
Michael
Cohen.
yeah, Michael Cohen straight up said that they were never running to win. That was not
Right.
the plan.
They were running
That
to
will-
get more people in their hotels and
Yeah.
and to get
But
more.
But since
you know,
there were like
merchandising
20
deals.
other people who were doing the same thing, somebody had to
Mhm.
win.
Somebody
Yeah.
had to win, and
Yeah.
again, it's the reason Trump won is because for a lot of Republicans, he was refreshing because he came into politics with that WWE mindset
They
and
wanted to flip the table over, yeah.
he flipped the table over and came and was I do not deny that the man was fucking hilarious the way he
Yeah.
he trashed talked all of them.
Expert
he-
troll.
He was an
Yeah.
expert troll and he fucking destroyed whole campaigns. He called Marco Rubio Little Rubio,
Oh,
That
fucking
ruined him
ins-
it was
for life.
great.
ruined him. He
Yeah.
Then they
destroyed.
all
He
fell in line.
Yep, he destroyed Jeb Bush's campaign. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Low
slap.
energy. He's low energy.
But
And the media
I-
fucking loved him. Like
and the
that's-
media loved it.
gave
The
him
Democrats-
Shut
so
up
much
about
free
him.
airplay.
On both sides, even. You
As
know?
I said,
It's-
the
yeah.
Democrats loved
They just kept
everybody.
running it the whole time.
They
It's the same thing
loved
like
it.
you say you hate Twitter, but you're still on it. It's all these people
You-
saying they hated Trump, but you're still fucking talking about him.
You got
Yeah,
Bernie
exactly.
Sanders doing a speech, and you've gotten right next to it, just waiting for the moment, Trump's empty podium. Like, you're not
Yeah.
even, and you're allegedly on the left. Come on, MSNBC.
He's great for ratings.
Yeah.
He's great for
Yeah.
because all incentives and our own human nature point is what got him elected. He
Right.
he
Mhm.
did
Yep.
he failed upwards literally.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We say we're for humanity, but that's a load of crap because we're like we were. And again, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's all right. But like, we worship the god of green. And so all of our values are a load of shit, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
Because
our
like, when we
values are a
talk
load of
about
shit.
family values,
Cash rules everything
nothing
around
we
me.
do actually gets people back into their families. We get like it's a loaded word and because everything we do is to force people into the workplace so people can make profit off of us.
Yeah.
Right? But we use
Mhm.
these terms as bullshit terms because
Yeah.
it sounds good, right?
Mhm.
And I had two things on that actually. One being it works its way for online content creation as well. Unfortunately, like we are competing with each other's channels. We are competing for every click, every view,
Yep.
every subscription, everything we can get, and it's unfortunate because there are a lot of well-meaning people online and whatnot. But it's just if you do this, if you get big enough and say you try to be like professionally do this, right? Like this is your job and whether or not you pay the bills depend on it. Now, at this point, all incentives point towards what'll get you the most clicks, likes, views, such and such. And unfortunately, what gets the most views, clicks, likes, and blah 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 is reactionary content. Basically being as
Hate.
as
Mhm.
inflammatory as fucking possible.
Right.
Like unless you're lucky and you just get you get big because just sincere content that people enjoy, like you're just not. But most of the time you have to have some kind of inflammatory flair to it to really go big. and it sucks.
So,
No, and
so-
that's why I disagree with Scott, where I don't think it's like a love of money that's the problem. It's just a simple economics issue. Like there's
Yeah.
only so much attention you can devote to things. And people want to devote their attention to the most dramatic, the most, like we talked about right at the very beginning. We love drama, so we tend to click on the video. Even I do this. I click on the videos that look the most ridiculous and most inflammatory, and they can be put together by a fucking 12-year-old in like 5 minutes, and it would still be get more clicks, get more subscribers than something that I slave over for 2 weeks. You know, like, and I get
Yeah.
that, and I understand that, and I don't blame money. I think that's just a scapegoat. It's just the economics of the situation and the way people are.
well, it's
Yeah, I don't blame the
Selfishness.
money. I blame the people who are
Chasing the money.
chasing it constantly. It's
I-
like
yeah, there's so much-
I just
yeah.
want to not have to struggle. That's it. I don't want to be
Yeah.
rich. I just don't want to have to struggle. I don't
Yeah, I
want to
gotcha.
have to work 14, 16 hours a day just to make ends meet.
Yeah, no, in my case, because I have 80% service connected disability, or specifically over 50%, my health care is covered. Period. No matter where, damn near, no matter where I go, and I want that for everybody else. But
That'd be nice.
I could only imagine what my life would be like if it wasn't. How desperate I would be for more views, more clicks, more this, that, and the third. And I just kind of extrapolate from there, knowing that there are so many people who like this is like their only avenue, and it's like they don't want to do this, but it's like, do they really have a choice?
Yeah,
well, like
I agree.
I completely agree, because again, we put people, and again, like, I honestly think, even if we had the internet, I honestly question if 30 years ago or 40 years ago, if OnlyFans would exist, right? Like,
Oh,
there
yes,
would
it
be
would.
pornography. There would be pornography. Don't, you know, again.
Human behavior
there's
hasn't
always-
changed much in 40
Right.
years. I think it would be the same.
But because we've oppressed people so much, so many people, and we've taken away so many avenues to actually be able to self-sustain, right? Because inflation's risen up and pay rates have flattened, that more people are turning, like, places like OnlyFans are loaded with people on there.
When's
Right.
your live?
What's that?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a joke.
On a note of OnlyFans,
We had those 1-900 numbers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think some
ahead.
form of it is always going to exist, so long
Absolutely,
as
absolutely.
as long as we're stuck in the system that makes people desperate enough to do whatever it takes to get what
Right.
they need.
It's the
You know what I mean?
oldest
'Cause
profession. Yeah.
It's the oldest profession in history, because all throughout history until this fucking day, people are desperate. And when you're desperate,
I'm
you'll
not
do
knocking
anything.
OnlyFans. I'm not knocking sex work. I've been.
That's
to,
how
like,
you get your
Netherlands.
income, right?
That's how, right.
Nah.
Like, I'm trying, but nobody wants to see this. Like, come on, man. Milkshake is the best.
Right. But like I said last time on our chat, right? I was getting ready to whore myself out for my corporate overlords, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what job you're doing, you're selling yourself,
Right.
right? You know, and if you want to do it to pleasure other people and pleasure yourself, have at it, you
No,
know?
and I honestly, I don't think most people like actually get there because they're trying to like make the because they're like pleasuring themselves or pleasuring other people. I think it's because, like, I go to this all the time. The most important and valuable resource that we have is time, right?
Mhm.
And when you think about our federal minimum wage is $7.25 for an hour of your existence, right? Put yourself on your deathbed and you've got your family around. How much would you pay
For one more hour? Yeah.
Mhm.
And 7.25, fuck you, is not it, right?
Mm-mm.
So if I can go to OnlyFans and now my hourly wage becomes like 100, 200, 300, 500, $1,000 an hour,
Mhm.
fuck yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah, hey,
Because
that's
now
why.
it becomes right.
Yeah, I was
go
gonna say I don't fault people for what they do. Like even
Fuck yeah.
even the inflammatory clickbait assholes out there. I'm like I get it. It sucks that this is the incentive, that the incentive structure pretty much rewards you for being your worst self. It sucks, but I get it.
Yeah,
It's like
same.
I completely understand, and it's
And-
just
We as consumers have to be mindful of ourselves, right? Like, a few days ago, I had a very bad day on Twitter. I acknowledge that, and I fell into that like angry little like I wasn't trolling, but I was like, I would see something, I'm like, that's kind of bullshit, right?
Did you have
And,
to sing
like,
a song on YouTube about how you're not a groomer? Is that how
Was
this
it- did you whip out the ukulele?
Oh my god! Oh, that was so. Oh my god! No, I don't have a ukulele, but I do have.
You should
my
get one.
daughter's
It really
cello.
helps with your apologies.
I know, right? No, I got a cello. I look more fancy with a cello. That's what it is. And so
You got to
no,
keep your
like,
beard
oh
from
my
getting
God.
tangled in the
Oh,
strings
dude,
there.
that's so great. God damn you, Eric. That was so great. Anyways, but no, I there was some stuff going on that, we always hear, especially on the left, that we're better because we don't fall into these like traps and the MAGA cult and all this bullshit. Absolutely, right? No, bullshit, right? And I was upset about a person like slagging their coworker, right? And like any other business, if I were to go on social media and start ripping one of my coworkers, like if you're in a law firm, if you're a physician or a nurse practitioner or any kind of or a medical practice, and you're slagging one of your providers about they're racist, they're a bigot, they're all of this stuff, HR is going to bring you, and HR finds out about it, they're going to bring you in there, and at very least you're getting a reprimand, and right, a write-up, a verbal, a written warning. There's a very good chance that you're getting, I would say more likely you're getting at least a 2-week unpaid suspension, or more likely, I think it was very justifiable that you're getting fired.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Period.
I am on, as far as politically, in political spaces I inhabit, I am as left wing as it comes. I'm not particular on any particular labels. I don't really give a shit.
Right.
I just know that my policy prescriptions are definitely considered to be left wing, but that's
Sure.
neither here nor there.
I think
can
the
tell
smartest
you-
people are politically homeless. They don't like labels. Yeah.
Yeah, like labels are I'm perfectly comfortable with just being me and knowing the policies I want, and I'll side with whoever wants the policies that I want. Anything else is debatable. You know what I mean?
Amen.
But that being said, yeah, there are many on the left who sincerely fucking believe that they are above getting sucked into drama, above cult-like behavior, above just almost a religious zealotry with regards to specific narratives and such. And I'm just like, no. That is a lie. And no, none of that bullshit. Now, everybody
It goes back
both
to the
sides,
people who believe in conspiracy theories. They want to feel superior. Yeah.
they
So
want to feel superior.
they don't even
and
see
my-
that they're being smug as fuck.
Yeah.
And my rant was about hey, instead of just slagging someone on Twitter, which does nothing, why not talk to your boss about having a conversation? Because that's what at least what the left says we want to do is we want to have a conversation, an open conversation, and we don't like canceling. That's what we say. We always say that it's the right that's actually doing the canceling. No, bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Everyone's canceling. Everyone's canceling. Let's
I think this is a product of social media where
Yeah.
people don't know how to just have private conversations anymore. They take all their fucking grievances and put it out for the public to the court of public opinion to vindicate them or dogpile their enemy, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, fuck all that. No, if it's a personal shit, let's just talk somewhere else. I don't want the world jumping down my throat or yours on this shit that we could have just fucking talked out. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
see this
It's
a
just
lot on Facebook. I don't do Twitter, but I do Facebook. And on
Right.
Facebook, you see a lot of married people who go to fucking Facebook to ask other people's opinions of their argument they're having with their spouse. No, don't fucking do that. That is not how you have a healthy relationship.
No,
Well, you
yeah,
shouldn't
go to
air your
fucking
dirty laundry in
therapy.
public spaces, anyways.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
all
that's-
of you, okay? Fuck all of you. Just because I want to go on Facebook and call my wife a see you next Tuesday and
Oh my God.
explain that she is the devil with all of the crap that she does, that is perfectly justifiable, perfectly right. There is
You have the
nothing wrong
freedom
with
to
that.
be an idiot. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no. It's
Besides, if there was ever an argument between you and your wife, I've met your wife, I would side with your wife.
You should.
no, but this is definitely a product of social media
Yes.
where people can't just help themselves but air every little last fucking detail of their lives and every bit of grievances, this, that, and the third online, and it is obscene to me. I'm just like, what the? I always wonder. I'm like, I see some certain arguments, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? You should have kept this at home, like in private. Why
Yeah.
are you telling the world this? The
Yeah.
fuck?
Well, it's this erosion of privacy. People like the younger generation now doesn't really believe in the concept of privacy anymore. That's just like the society that's
No,
built up around the
yeah.
internet. Yeah, the privacy is a
No, and
myth.
I
Mhm.
love prescribing this. Like, write an email to yourself when you're like absolutely livid. You can put your email address of where it's going from, and when you're sending it to, you can send it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So write this fucking email to yourself. Get it out. Like,
That's how
Rollo
you
May
become a
has-
novelist.
Or journal.
That's right.
A novel, a
right.
journal.
Yeah,
this,
or
that,
write
and
a
the
A
third.
journal.
journal
yeah.
people can get access to.
Well, not a
Emails
live,
have-
yeah, not live journal. I'm
Not
talking like
live
on
journal.
pen and paper, man.
Oh,
Pen
I
and
will
paper.
Found out
actually-
all of that's still
Yeah.
available. So
On that note about the people not being known what privacy is anymore, you can't even have private conversations anymore because if y'all private through text, oh, you better believe those text messages are going to be on
Mhm.
posted
Yeah.
online.
Yep.
Like I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? These are private conversations. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yep.
Guys, I got to take a 5-minute break. 'Cause-
Go
Okay.
ahead, brother.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go
I'll be
ahead.
back.
We'll keep chatting.
Yeah, keep chatting.
Oh,
keep
yeah,
chain
yeah.
smoking, man. I'm really like, I really miss it. Like I'm an ex-smoker, so like just watching you smoke is very relaxing to me.
All of
Oh,
us
yeah,
actually, all of us are ex-smokers. So yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure
Yeah.
I'll quit it. I'm sure I'll quit at some point, but right now I'm young and dumb, so let me do this.
No, you do,
No, no.
brother.
You will not get any complaints from
No.
us. And I quit was just because like I said, we keep moving around and I don't have a social life anymore. So I wasn't socially smoking. And
Right.
then I wound up with some health issues and I had to quit. So,
Right,
you know.
I got you.
but
Yeah,
if
no,
it
I
were,
only quit this year.
yeah.
For me, it's just I needed to do something with my hands.
Yeah.
Emotion. I don't know, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. I feel I get antsy when I'm not doing something.
I hear
Even during a conversation. That's why it just this is my way of multitasking.
No, I get you.
You know what?
It
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
As a mental health specialist, one of the things I hope that we can change is excessive energy equating to excessive restless energy equating to ADHD, because that's
Right.
not. And I see that on social media so much, and like we assume it's like we'll call it ADHD because we're used to like that now being the thing, rather than acknowledging that anxiety, like PTSD, like bipolar, like most likely it's anxiety. So
Yeah, no, I anxiety runs in my family, that's for sure, and I
Yeah.
do
most
get
commonly it's anxiety. Anxiety is the most common mental health diagnosis in our country. So
Yeah.
like most people, like that inability to focus, inability to sit still, and like I'm always like, people will want to come in because they're just used to it now. It's in the zeitgeist with ADHD.
Yeah.
But that's always something I'm trying to work out. Is it nervous energy, or is it a restless energy where you just like have an excessive energy, and just trying to and some of the cues, but like inability to focus and having excess and inability to sit still and stuff like that has a lot of different causes.
Well,
So
I think
always
it-
like to put that out there for
psychology
people.
just in general, like for years, everybody's always had like this one fad diagnosis that goes around.
Yeah.
Like when
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the 90s and the 2000s, everybody was bipolar. Remember that? Just because
Yes.
you were occasionally sad and occasionally hyper, which is everybody. Apparently everybody's bipolar, but that's not what
Yeah.
bipolar is, God damn it.
Right.
And nowadays
Oh, yeah.
everybody's on the spectrum. I made a joke about it earlier, but everybody's on the spectrum now. That's not
Yeah.
really what autism is. Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
No, for sure. And actually, there's something I wanted to tell y'all. If y'all and get y'all input on, right? So, as you can see, I'm black,
What?
right?
What the fuck?
Just stay in
No,
your
no,
seat.
I
Just-
don't see color.
like I know, that's shocking. I know. Just bear with me here.
I have to call the cops.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with another black man on this notion because there is a prevalent idea on the left that white people can't understand us, or anyone from any demographic can't understand the other demographic, just period.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's not how that works. You know
Yeah,
what
if
I mean?
anything, that
Like,
just makes you more divisive, right?
more
Yeah.
divisive. Yeah, no, it was a debate. I don't typically do debates. I haven't done debate in years, so that was definitely driving me up a wall because the guy, he just kept talking extremely long-winded rants and that got to no point and such. It was driving me crazy. And then when I would point what he was saying, I'm like, bro, so this is what you're saying? He'd be like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm like, but that is what you're saying. What the fuck are you talking? Like, no, but that's not here. Just the notion that y'all can't understand me or I can't understand y'all, I like to think it's just absolutely ridiculous. No, like, there's nothing unique to my blackness that you white men could not understand. Like,
No, I think
The only thing I would say is, like, just like anybody else, like you can't walk in somebody else's shoes, right?
yeah.
And that's for everybody. It's not just because of a skin color or whatnot. It's just everybody has different experiences, every different parent, everything,
Yeah.
and you're an own individual, so
It's like this.
I'll
I
say
can't
this.
understand.
Oh,
What's
go
up?
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
this is my thought. I think you're both right to an extent, and this is what and what I mean by that is I don't think I can inherently understand what your experience is, right? Because there's like the concept of microaggressions and things like that. Like, I won't inherently understand it because my personal experience, I think oftentimes we try to normalize our own experience and project it outwardly, right? That's sort of a way of making ourselves feel normal, right? And so we'll make a lot of assumptions based on that, taking our experience and externalizing it outwardly, right?
Yeah.
But so inherently, I don't think I can know someone else's experience, right? Which goes into the platinum rule, which is not do unto others as you would have done unto you, because that's plays into that inherent issue. But it's do unto others as they would have done unto them, which requires you to listen and understand their perspective and what it is that they need and want and desire, right? So it requires work and effort. So I think I can understand you if I'm open to listening to your experience and learning that, right? And so therefore I can, and that goes for, I think that goes for anyone and everyone,
Yeah.
right?
communication, empathy.
Right.
I mean, you get like you can't walk in the person's shoes, so there has to be a communication. There has to be work. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do think like the mass communication leads to biases, right?
Yeah.
Like when the news is showing a crime, like they'll more often show black people that commit a crime more than white people that commit a crime, even though white people do it more often than black people, just because there's more white people in the world, right?
Right.
So then we and
Well, in
media
this country,
portrayals of
yeah.
In this country
right,
specifically.
yes, in this
yeah.
country,
Yeah.
yes, in this specific country, right? Like you go to Nigeria, okay, not so.
Different-
And so,
yeah.
right? And so, like, and you go to like China, okay, not so. White people do not commit more crimes than Chinese people in China. And so, so in this country, that holds true. And so, therefore, like, we can and media often portrays, like, again, you listen to like actors or whatever, especially like in black actors, like, are you going to be a gangster, a drug addict, like different things like that. The media creates it. So I think we can learn biases, right? And we just have to be aware of that. And by talking and connecting with other people, we can actually learn the truth of their experience, right?
I'll say-
so that's where I think you're right. I think he's right in that I don't inherently know your experience because I haven't walked in similar shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'll say, let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever gone hungry?
I'm a fat man.
Yes.
Throughout any point in your life, growing
No,
up.
I was first in a trailer. I grew up in a trailer.
Then you get what it.
I was trailer trash. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So you do understand. So we do understand each other. But you know what I don't understand? Yeah, two of you have very long beards. My facial hair will never grow that long, and
This is as long as mine can get too. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I'll never understand what it feels like to have a beard going down to my titties. You know what I mean? I can't understand that, how that feels. It must tickle down there. I don't know. I've never experienced.
You
that.
will never understand the experience, the glorious experience of the Duck Dynasty experience. And
the Duck Dynasty experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's and
You
anything
brush it, and
rare
a squirrel
for-
comes out. You know.
Right, you're like, that's dinner for later. I
That's
caught
dinner.
me some dinner.
And that's what I mean. It's like, if you want to get specific about specific things we can't understand about each other because you personally haven't experienced it, that's one thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to say that because you are white that you can't understand me because I'm
I can't
black is-
ever. I don't
and
agree
you-
with that. Right.
Yeah.
that is a
That's just
ridiculous notion to
racism.
me.
Like
That's
that's
just
pure
racism.
racism. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it essentializes our existence essentially by saying that there's something so unique to me being black that it says that we're different, like, uniquely, and we're really not. You know what I mean?
So we do this in mental health, like and just generally in healthcare, or in healthcare in general. Like to say that you can't understand someone's experience with schizophrenia unless you've had schizophrenia, then no mental health provider would ever exist, right?
Exactly.
And so, or and that you have to have diabetes in order to understand someone with diabetes and to treat someone with diabetes. Then we would, like, endocrinology would have, as few, like,
Well,
most
by that
endocrinologists don't have diabetes, right?
by
And
that
so-
logic, we need to start stabbing surgeons, because how are they supposed to treat a stab wound if they
Yeah,
don't know how it
really.
feels to be
Yeah.
stabbed? You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, you want to give me surgery? Have you ever been stabbed before? No. Here,
Gentlemen,
now you can.
you'll have to
treat me.
excuse me. I have to get to work, so I'll be back.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like
A fat
it's,
bearded man has run through a hospital and was arrested trying to chase.
Now, speaking as a writer, it's something you come across in circles when it comes to writing, that you're not allowed to write about something you haven't personally experienced. All writing should be autobiographical. That's bullshit.
bullshit. Yeah,
That is
that is
such
bullshit. No,
I have never been to space, but I can still write stories in space. God damn it!
exactly.
Exactly.
So that was the fun little debate I had of recently. Yeah, what about y'all? Y'all had any interesting conversations that y'all thought was just like, what the fuck?
Wait. First off, I want to say, fuck you, Eric. I completely disagree, because Tolkien absolutely lived in Middle Earth, and he fucked 3 elves and 5 dwarves. He wasn't sure of their gender, but he still fucked the dwarves. And that's, and the hobbits. Well, like,
I
they
mean,
are
the way
freaks.
he described Middle Earth in the books, it was so detailed. You think he was there?
Right. Yeah. So absolutely. Like, again,
Yeah.
fantasy writing would never exist then.
Well, to get especially nerdy, it's that argument about Shakespeare, that Shakespeare couldn't have possibly written his own plays because Shakespeare didn't know the inner workings of the court, and it's so accurate in Shakespeare plays, which it's not. That's just nonsense. It's total nonsense. You have an imagination, and
Right.
it does things.
Yeah.
We have empathy.
Yeah, and we have empathy.
Like,
We can understand other people, even though 2 people have not lived the exact same experience. We can understand each other.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's it. And to me, it says more about, again, the words that we use oftentimes say more about you than the person that you're trying to, like, claim, right? Because especially, like, I won't get into too much detail, but, like, man, oh man, like, a lot of people on the left are going after this one particular person right now and trying to make assumptions about their way of thinking, right? And I'm like, man, y'all need to be like therapists, because apparently you can just read minds,
Yeah.
right? And
No.
and that what
They
someone
appeal
is
to motive.
saying,
Right.
what someone's saying has nothing to do with what's actually going on. You guys actually can read their mind better than what they're saying. So that's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. So please, like, I wish I had that power, but I have to actually listen to people and look at their actions, look at their history, look at their behavior over time, and listen to what they're saying to better understand them. Right?
Yeah.
But these
On that-
armchair psychologists are, like, fucking pissed.
They're
me
not
off.
looking to understand. They're looking to judge.
To
Absolutely.
judge, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of it is. And on that note, I think, because I know who you're talking about, it's just fascinating to me that they've condemned this person as just this, explicitly saying this person is evil, And I'm just like, this person agrees with you on like 98% of the things that y'all believe in, but this 1 2% y'all have decided this person is the enemy, evil, traitor, this, that, and the third, and that is fucking insane to me.
Absolutely,
I
Big Bean. Absolutely. We
Yes.
it's actually it's 51% of the genetics. We share 51% of the same genetics as a banana. Because I love bananas, and I'm like, oh, like you don't understand how deep I can go.
Banana
My
eating is
nickname-
cannibalism.
like-
It's
My
cannibalism.
nickname in college was Banana Man, and I had a big yellow zoot suit that I used to go on stage with. So,
are you
One of the
fucking
best
are you fucking
cartoons.
serious? Are you fucking
I'm
serious?
dead serious.
Yes,
Yeah, I was in a
yes.
blues band, and I was Banana Man. I was the lead singer, and I was wearing this big yellow zoot suit and everything.
That is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Golly, nah, that is awesome. The only thing I've ever done similar to that, I was the mascot in high school for my football team. I was the big red eagle.
Oh,
Oh, I
Yep,
love that
nice.
nickname.
Yep. And fun fact, maybe y'all know this. I don't know. Apparently, because people ask me, I'm like, is it like really hot in there? Like, no. The helmet has like a little fan in there, and the bodysuit you wear like an ice pack vest. So the
Nice.
whole time I was
Nice.
not hot. I was like, oh, because I was worried about the same thing. But they gave me that ice pack vest, and it turned on the fan. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Wish I could wear
That's
one of those to a game.
an air conditioned suit. Yeah.
I wish I could wear one of those all the time.
I need
one of
those
Fat
at
man in
work.
summertime, man. This
Yeah.
is not going well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
down here in Florida, that's what we need, right?
But Joe actually is wearing one. That's not what he really looks like.
He's actually very, very scrawny.
I would absolutely rock
I'm
an
actually
ice
a
pack
very
vest.
small little person up here.
Yeah.
I would absolutely rock an ice pack vest on hot days. Are you kidding me? Them things are great.
I did recently get one of those like fans that wrap around your neck and just like blow onto your face. And I go on hikes and I wear that, and like you can't tell, you don't really feel any cooler. But then I noticed after taking like these 2-hour hikes in the sun, I wasn't sweating.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these things rock.
I got this that I can clip to my belt, and it blows air up my shirt.
Yeah, cool.
So it like circulates
I
around
put a
underneath my
Ziploc
shirt.
bag of ice down my pants and put it on my dick to keep to make sure the fertility's good.
Amen, brother. Amen. Fucking A. Well, I
Wow,
did
he's got a
ask.
giant bulge. That's just the ice. Don't get crazy now.
Don't get the wrong
Scott,
idea.
you gotta pull it out and beat it against your forehead. That's
Freedom, get your forehead with both hands.
keeps it cool.
But yeah, no. The other
Make some
thing
wind.
I wanted to say to y'all, I definitely for sure, is that like any one of y'all are welcome on my show to talk about any specific thing at any time. I forgot to tell y'all that earlier, and that's my bad.
That's
Like,
awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I also always tell people. Obviously, y'all probably won't rely on any anonymity, but I always tell because people like anonymity is respected. If you want to talk about like a really contentious thing, but you don't want to show your name and face because you don't want to come back to you or some shit, that's fine too. You know what I mean? Because I get it. I have people come on anonymous all the time because they don't feel comfortable, the world seeing their name and face attached to their particular issues and such.
No,
That's
like
awesome.
I'm really enjoying this conversation with you, and
Mhm.
as somebody who's already
Yeah.
all over YouTube, I will probably take you up on the offer.
Oh
Nice.
yeah. I will say one thing. I am an expert in nothing. I just dabble in a whole lot of everything.
There you
and
go.
if I learn as I go, and if I don't know, I will tell you. But other than that, yeah, anybody's welcome. I wanted to let y'all know that.
Cool.
You know what?
Cool.
You are living my mantra. Be a bard. I'm a dork, by the way. Be a bard, right? From D&D. You're a jack of all trades and master of none, and you spend your life traveling, trying to absorb all the knowledge that you can to
Mhm.
help convey your story, right? And
Oh,
so, like, I think that's a great way to like exist. And bards are not like your master fighter or your master. They're just a support person. They're
Yeah.
there to make everybody else better, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a great way to live.
I will say, just to be clear, because I don't want anyone to think I'm not just on the audience. I always tell people this as well. I'm not a fence sitter. I do have my own beliefs. Just to be
Yeah,
clear,
yeah.
I do have certain things like certain lines, certain beliefs, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So I'm not just some both sides are correct. Have a point. This, that, and third. If one side is right, I'm gonna say it. If one side is wrong, I'm gonna say it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do have defined beliefs. And to Baked Beans' question, what sci-fi do I like? I don't know. I guess one of my favorite type is kind of like a steampunk sci-fi type shit. Like I do really enjoy that. the most recent steampunk sci-fi thing I watched, fantasy sci-fi thing I watched was Arcane,
Oh,
which
I
was
love Arcane. It's so fucking good.
phenomenal. Loved it. Loved the steampunk gauntlets, the whole nine. I was loving that shit. So I do like that especially.
Yeah, me too. That was a really, really good show.
Yeah, highly recommend it for anybody who hasn't seen it. It is
I'll have to watch it. I haven't seen
Wait,
it.
like Arcane on Netflix?
Arcane on Netflix.
It's
Yeah.
really, really fucking good. Try to ignore that it's based on League of Legends.
Oh, okay. That's what it.
Yeah.
No. I watched it. You're right. It is phenomenal. The animation is insane.
Yeah.
The whole design. Oh.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it, especially because, like you said, ignore that it's based on League of Legends. You can go in having never even heard of League of Legends.
That was
and
me when I
enjoy
watched it. 'Cause I didn't know about League of Legends.
I'm like, what the fuck is a League of Legends? Whatever.
Yeah.
But this show's awesome. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. I love steampunk, but you know what I mean. Everything else is cool, but steampunk's my favorite.
Nothing wrong with steampunk, man.
No.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
Steampunk
steampunk's
is one
awesome.
that I never got into, but I like looking at the like, you know, dork. Like again, I love I don't have any dork costumes, but like as I'm getting older, like my wife is like, she wants me to like. She's like, you need to be dressed up like a barbarian. You got the beard now. Like, you love axes. Like, you need, and she wants to go to Renaissance fairs as that's dressed up or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that would be great, right? And so, like, I've been like kind of looking at like, you know, outfits. And
You
things
can
like
pull
that,
off the
like,
cleavage for a Ren fair, yeah.
right? I can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you ever been to a Renaissance fair?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
all
have
the time.
we have one here.
Oh fuck yeah! That's the one I went to back in my ex when we were dating and whatnot in Florida, and I'll never forget that shit. I participated in a see who could shout the longest competition and won, and
Nice.
and the lady she you get a rose as a reward, but she kept breaking the rose into smaller pieces from her mouth. And to the point where now I basically had to kiss her to get the damn rose. I'll never forget that. That was fun. That was great.
Yeah. No, I like the SCA also is something that I had a lot of friends that were into that, but I never got into Society for Creative Anachronism, where like you dress up in your homemade knight outfit and you go out with these like padded swords and stuff like that, and you just like beat on each other in battle and stuff like that.
LARPing.
Like,
It's called
yeah,
LARPing.
No,
Yeah.
but it's like yes, but also it's a little bit more structured than just general LARPing. It's actually like really like there's kingdoms all across the the globe, I think, but like definitely in the U.S. Like Pensacola has a kingdom, like all kinds of stuff. Like like up here, like there's a kingdom here in the Pacific Northwest. There's a few of them up here, like, and they'll have like 50 to 100 people like wars between like kingdoms and stuff like that, and they'll go out there in these like outfits with their shields and these padded swords and axes and stuff like that, and they'll just wail on each other for hours and then drink beer afterwards. And I'm like,
I love it.
I
love that.
Now
great.
that I'm old, like again, it's when you're younger, you're so like you don't have that ego strength because you're still trying to develop your identity. So like my anxiety about looking like a fool, and again, because we motivate people through
Scott,
guilt
you
and
always
shame.
look like a fool, though. So what does it matter if you dress
know,
up to look
right?
like a fool?
I don't know. There's something liberating about being an
Go
idiot.
play
Like,
Vampire the
Yes!
Masquerade.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I used to like that's one thing I did is I LARPed with Vampire the Masquerade, and I did the rock paper scissor battles. It looked foolish or whatever, but I did that for years.
I'm actually
You drugged
about
me
to,
into that a few times too.
Yeah, I did.
I'm actually about to stream myself playing Vampire the Masquerade now because I just finished playing one other game that was unfortunately banned. Like the you couldn't stream the final chapter for some fucking reason. Fuck
The
you,
hell?
Sega. Yeah, it was the Yakuza series, Yakuza 0.
Oh, that's a fun game.
And
Yeah.
they've loved it, but they banned the final chapter from being streamed. So I'm like, what the fuck?
You have to
This
play
is
the
the ba-
game to see the end.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. But I'm definitely gonna be playing Vampire the Masquerade. I'm looking forward to that.
Like the video game.
The video game, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But,
so like,
Oh, what's up?
oh yeah. Like it was foolish, but it's got a really good like storyline and background. Like it was really well written, and really well like formulated, and it died for a while, but now like some people have been bringing back White Wolf, and so now like they've got a really like good story behind it. Like it's a really well thought out, you know, like as far as like the different clans and like how they came about and the origin story of all this and all the different characters in history that are part of different clans and all this different thing. And then you've got like the Camarilla versus the Savant. Yes, I for real know Vampire the Masquerade.
Did you watch the
RPG
show,
version.
Scott?
There's
Yes,
a show.
yes,
There's a
I did.
show?
Yes, there
From the
was a show.
90s?
Yes,
Oh, my.
absolutely. I watched the show every fucking week.
Did it last like a whole season or did it get canceled? I can't
No,
remember.
it was one
didn't-
season. One season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that like the head guy was a Ventru. Oh yes, I know. And then
Yes.
you had the Nosferatu
Yes,
living in the
yes.
sewer. Yeah, oh, dude, I fucking know this shit. I am a abs. I went to LA.
He's got it. He's got it on VHS.
I went to
Yeah.
LA, and like there was like I was telling people like I was a dork, and one guy goes like, did you ever play Vampire the Masquerade? And I was like, in all my glory, my wife just kind of looked at me like, is he gonna acknowledge this or not? And I was like, fuck yeah, I did.
I've been
still
waiting
have
for
my
this
books.
moment.
And yes, and he's like, wait, so do you really like battle or like challenge each other with rock, paper, scissors? It's like, yes, you fucking
Yes.
do.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely do. Yes. In
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
actually, y'all keep talking, but go ahead, give me 1 second.
No problem.
Oh.
And Baked Bean asking says that me and Eric should come up with a movie or TV show to talk about like the morals and lessons. And hey, brother, I am all for that.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
You pick something. If I haven't watched it, I'll go watch it, and then we can come back and talk about it. Hell,
I
yeah.
will think about it and get back to you. Yeah.
Please do. That'll be a fun chat.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
one other thing I would definitely love. I've never done the LARPing thing, but I mean, for me, it's like I need to be able to actually hit somebody. Because for one, I can take a hit. I also do you can tell from my size, amateur boxing. I love a good fight. I can take a hit. So if I'm gonna do any kind of LARPing, you better hit me like you fucking mean it. And I'm gonna hit you like I mean it. We're gonna like you're not gonna upset me.
Well
So
used.
I can take
very
the
well
hit.
used. Like I've got the clan books. I even have the Dark Ages, and look like this thing. Like it's
Damn,
the
that
pages
thing is
are
worn
wrinkled.
out, bro.
Yes, yes.
Are
it
any of the
is.
pages stuck together there, Scott? Did you?
Ooh, that one's a little bit.
It look. Somebody enjoys vampires a little too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah.
Takes it a
that's
little too far there.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say my wife. She loves
favorite
vampires.
was always the Malkavians, because they were the insane ones, and I even developed a clan that's an offshoot of the Malkavians, where your powers were based on the number of mental health disorders you actually got, and the powers, like, you know, you could slow people down because they're depressed. You can speed yourself up with mania. You can cause, you know, hallucinations on people if you acquired schizophrenia. Like so, the more mental health disorders you acquired, the more like that's how you got your next ability, right? Was through doing some sort of like traumatic experience to develop. And so it was very much, it was a blending of the Changeling, which I have that book also, the Changeling and the Malkavians.
That's
blending of
fucking
the
wild.
roots. Yeah, I came up with a whole thing.
That
for a
trauma
whole
and
new
mental illness are superpowers. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was like, and that was in fucking high school that I developed that, and like it just like the fact that I ended up as a mental health provider, like I was
Very
like,
fitting,
oh yeah. The writing was on the wall. Like the writing was on the wall.
And Baked Bean, to answer your question, my favorite vampire movie is the Blade series. I fucking love it.
Ooh, especially like the second one.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh god.
I'm waiting for the new ones to see how
Oh.
Are they casting fucking Wesley Snipes again? I kind of heard that.
No. I don't know if he's going to be a part of it. I hope so. But Makasha Ali,
Yeah.
Makasha Ali is going to be he is such a phenomenal actor. I think
Yeah.
that like I really
He was
appreciate
awesome
that-
as Cottonmouth in
Oh yeah, in
in
Luke
Power
Cage.
Man,
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
Luke
yeah.
Cage.
Oh yeah. Oh, and also Baked Bean, to answer your question, my favorite boxer. I don't really had a favorite, but I definitely like Tyson Fury because he is an old man with a body the shape of fucking a bag of wet milk. Yet he still knocks motherfuckers the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like he makes me feel like shit, you can come in at an old age and not looking fucking chiseled as fucking, you can still be a champion.
Yeah. No, like for me, I don't know if you guys were talking. I love boxing. I love
Yeah.
boxing. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love combat sports. Like I love watching like one championship because of the fact that you've got like grappling, you've got Muay Thai, you've got kickboxing, you've got MMA, you've got all of these different like talents, right? The old school UFC when you had like a 400-pound sumo wrestler against a 120-pound like Gracie like BJJ like fighter, and like they're just going at it, and you're like, wait, there's no weight classes? We haven't like formulated that. Now it's all like
weight classes and stuff.
Now there's weight classes and all that different stuff, like the old school stuff, like with Gracie and all that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's the reason we had brought up boxing, because I said I'm an amateur boxer in training and all that. Like
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love boxing, and believe me, I can take a hit. The problem is I am 300 pounds despite my look. I may not look it, but I'm 300 pounds. It is really fucking hard to find other heavyweight boxers, apparently. Yeah. Not a lot of them as it stands. So I'm always end up sparring against smaller dudes, and that is annoying as fuck because they just jump around me like some goddamn frogs. And then sometimes I have to fight the tall, lanky motherfuckers with the long arms. I can't get in there without them just slapping the shit out of me. So that's always fun. So no, the few times I've been able to box fellow heavyweight, like same height and all that shit, I'm having a blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. Like I'm right there with you. And the worst part is like my wife and I joke that I have the torso of someone who's like 6'5", but the legs and the arms of someone who's like 5'2". And
he's
so,
like a garden gnome. He's built like a garden gnome.
I am built like a dwarf almost. Like, but like so like my arms are actually, my wingspan is like ridiculously small for my height, and so like so I'm one of those that I would have to like, almost Tyson like, where like I would have to be super super quick, get do his spring in, get inside, and then like pounce a person. And when you're talking about someone like anybody that I would ever fight, my grandfather used to be a boxer, and so like if I were to like, I've thought about this concept or whatever, and if I were to ever fight, like I would get waylaid and punch the shit out of in order to just be able to get in there, right? And so like
you kind of have to.
Yeah,
with certain body types. Like for me, that's the one thing I learned hard way is that I'm just going to eat them blows, man. Like because my arms ain't that long, so if I want to hit you, I got to get in close. But that means I'm about to take some hits, so that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and right.
The Baked Bean, 30 Days of Night. Yeah, you just reminded me of that movie. That movie
that's a fun
was
movie.
great.
Yeah.
Lost Boys was great. Lost Boys is just like freaking amazing.
Lost Boys is
right?
a classic.
It's a classic.
Oh,
I've never seen Lost Boys. What's that one about?
Oh, you need to watch Lost Boys.
Yes, that's Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kiefer Sutherland and a couple other '80s actors.
Don't forget about Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Corey Feldman.
The Coreys. That's what I was trying to think of their names. Like the two Coreys. Yeah, it's got Corey.
Yeah, I don't think
Kiefer
it's
Sutherland
streaming anywhere
steals the
free
movie.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now I put that on my watch list because I like vampire movies, so fuck it. Yeah,
that's a really good one.
Yeah,
I don't know shit about boxing, so if you're asking me my favorite boxer, I'd also probably just say Rocky. Although Adonis Creed does give him a run for his money.
No.
Go
ahead.
My favorite boxer, like I love watching Canelo. Especially like I love so my all-time favorite boxer is Roy Jones Jr. and he's someone Damien and I have both actually met.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Played volleyball with him. Yeah. Basketball.
You met and hung with Roy Jones Jr.
He went to our
I didn't hang.
He did?
I did.
Yeah.
He
graduated before us, but
before us, right?
Yeah.
But he came all the time to visit.
Yeah.
Our home ec teacher is the one that would make his boxing shorts and his boxing stuff. Yeah. And
that's fucking sick.
So when I was 16, I was dating this 19-year-old girl, and her mother was dating him, and so I went and hung out at their house, hung out with Roy a few times, So,
that's fucking sick.
And then he used
Yeah.
to come up to the cookie co all the time and buy the cookies with the paint in the middle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Give me
Oh,
those
no,
double
love-
doozies.
that
Mhm.
man was a fucking beast. So,
Oh, he was
woo.
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like
He's a really great guy too. He's real nice, you know,
Yes.
very personable, you know, happy all the fucking time, you know,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
a great
I
guy.
always liked him because like
Mhm.
he had a kid with a woman and she was like, I want child support and all this shit for it. And he was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm fighting for custody of this kid and
Mhm.
I'm going to raise my son. Right. And like, instead of like being like the dad that's like, all right, I'll pay for child support and I'll do whatever. He was like, no. I'm fucking being a dad. And this was
Yeah.
when he was in his prime too.
Yeah.
Like he was like, nope, I'm fighting for this kid. This is my kid and I'm going to have custody. So because I'm not giving you my money. I'm giving my kid my care, my time, and I'm investing in my kid. And to me, I
Respect
was
for
like,
that.
that's how it should be. Right.
Actually, I want to ask y'all a question on that, Alex, because you're all dads, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Y'all getting y'all kids and such in like combat sports and all that?
My two girls, I've got an 8 and a 11-year-old. My 8-year-old's about to turn 9 here shortly, but they've been in Taekwondo for a number of years. Because again, I want them to be able to defend them. I've got two girls. I want them to be able to defend themselves because every 2 minutes in the U.S., a woman is sexually assaulted. And again, that's not like a different woman. There's a lot of like the statistics with that is there's, you know, a lot of it's like one person being assaulted multiple times. That's like the most common. But
Yeah.
still, even at that rate, every 2 minutes, there's a lot of women, right? It's like a quarter of all women in the world have been assaulted. And that's so for me, like having daughters, I'm like, they're absolutely gonna fucking, you know, be able to take care of themselves because
Amen to
if
that.
if they ever get in that situation, I won't be there, right?
Mhm.
And so I need them to be able to be confident that and like the thing that I liked about my Taekwondo place is even as white belts, like when I was doing Taekwondo, like I had to be a green belt before I started breaking boards and doing like the fighting, right? The sparring. But my girls starting at white belt with our place at white belt, if you want to get to the next belt, you have to break boards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so they've been doing it for the past 4 years, 3 or 4 years, and so
Keep them at it for sure.
yeah, and so yeah, no. I told them like this is a lifelong thing that they're gonna do, and so my youngest was like 4 or 5 when she broke her first board. And so like you've got like little kids doing this and it really does make you overcome your fear, right? And so that's what I like about it. Eric, you go ahead and talk about yours.
Yeah, my son is in a karate. You know, just basic vanilla Shitoryu karate. But like he's okay, my son's autistic. And like that discipline and that rigid structure really helps him a lot, and he really took a shine to it like immediately. He became a black belt really fast. Like he really worked his way through it.
Hell yeah.
So he's awesome. He loves doing that. So yeah, my son's in karate. Anybody else?
No, my daughters are not in any combat sports. They
No.
they play athletic sports, but yeah.
Hey, that's still just as taxing. Or actually
Oh,
more
yeah.
so, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What about
So-
you, big dog?
No, my son, he pretty much is a tech nerd. I mean, that's his passion, and
I
so
did- hey,
I just
Mhm.
let him have at it. You know, I try not to push too much as a parent. You know, I let him find himself. I mean, I let him, I expose him to things, and if he likes it, he'll go. If not, move on.
I
So
dig.
yeah, no, I'm not.
On that note, I wanted to ask. Starting with you, of course. It's like, do you ever feel any kind of confliction with regards to that? Like, would you, you let him discover himself, let him be him, but like, would if it were up, if it kind of technically is up to you, but it's like, would you ever like try to really push him to do stuff like that, like combat sports,
Well,
self-defense classes?
I've shown him some basic self-defense stuff, you know, but he's a very kind soul, doesn't want to hurt people, you know, and he understands the dangers of the world. You know, I've never held back from him on exposed to what's going on in the news locally with child abduction or whatnot, and talking to him about those things. But yeah, it's not something that he's ever, he just has no. It's like me. I'm not a big sports person. I can watch hockey. I can watch basketball. Mainly those two, just because it's a kind of go game. I don't like the stop go football and other things. But yeah, it was just we've never been a very sports driven, competitive type family. So
Hey, I dig. Different folks. As long as you're able to navigate through society, just fine. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter.
yeah.
What about you, Big D? You ever have any issue? You said you got your daughters. You no, you that was Eric who said karate.
Yeah. I got my daughters in soccer, both. Well,
Soccer,
they were
the
well. There
athletic
was
sports.
ballet for both of them, and soccer, and my oldest is in Girl Scouts still. Hopefully she stays in it. That's not very athletic though. That's mostly just stuff.
Life
kind of.
skills.
Yeah, life skills.
Survival
Ain't nothing
skills.
wrong with
Yeah.
scouting, man. Yeah.
No.
I'm
I'm not saying
so-
there's anything wrong with scouting. It's just it's not as athletic as some people think it is. Like everybody thinks of it as like all this camping and hiking, and yeah, there's really not a whole lot of that going on. Actually, it's mostly learning
Selling
life skills
cookies.
and you're learning life skills and selling cookies. Yeah, lots of cookie selling, whole lot of cookie selling.
I hope she's
So-
doing better than I did when I was in Boy Scouts. I was terrible at it, and
Mhm.
which is funny how I still became a Marine later down the road in life. As a
Yeah.
kid,
I
I
was-
was
I was
terrible.
a Cub Scout. I was a Cub Scout den leader for 5 years or 4 years, really, 4.5. Oh, however you want to put it. There's always the kids that never do anything. They never do the work, and the way I dealt with that was, talking to them for one and talking to their parents, but also, they didn't get the badge if they didn't do the work.
I sure as shit didn't get no badges. I couldn't even
Yeah.
pitch a tent right. Well, our tent collapsed on us when it started raining.
I
And I
took that
said-
the wrong way.
Stuff like that. Pitching them tents, ain't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Rico,
It
I
is
I
Boy
can get
Scouts
you in
after
touch
all.
with people that can help you with your tent. So.
Mhm.
I'm kidding.
My tent always leaned to the left.
I used to I used to be lenient on the actual like performance of the task and was more interested in the attempt, so like if we did a knot tying thing, if they could, we had 5 different knots to learn, if they could learn the 2 easier ones, and at least attempt the other one, I'd still give them the badge,
Yeah.
because they tried, and knots are not as easy for everybody to tie as people think they are, and I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, I've learned a dozen different knots, and if you ask me to tie any of them right now, I couldn't do it. I don't remember how to do
also,
it,
People have different
So-
skills with their mind's eye. Having a
Mhm.
mind's eye can help
Yeah.
you with knot tying, right?
Yeah,
And really good-
exactly.
And there's some people that don't
Mhm.
have a mind's eye at all.
Mhm.
Bro,
Right.
I can't tie a knot. I can't even imagine the other type of knots other than the butterfly knot. That's the only
Yeah.
one I know.
Yeah. And-
Fucking
My
I was gonna-
experience in scouting was a little different, like because I was part of the delinquent troop. We were the bad kids, and we leaned into that hard, and it kind of gave us the sense of camaraderie. Like we all came together, burning all the other troops' camps. It was fun.
Nice.
And we supported each other.
We would invade and steal their supplies and burn their tents to the ground.
Oh
Totally.
my
We would
God.
Raise
like
their
we would
village.
Pyro troop.
we would put ourselves in like ghillie suits and paint our faces and shit and like scare the other troops at like 3 a.m,
Oh my
shit
God.
like that. We were
Holy
terrorizers.
moly, dude.
It
Oh
was a
my.
blast.
Y'all were a fucking menace. Jesus.
Yeah.
We were.
Ah,
we
yeah.
loved it.
Junior terrorists.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it.
Mm.
No, I guess I also want to ask y'all because with regards to being dads and such that since I'm trying and such, I guess for me, I don't know. All I had was a single mom. My dad was nowhere to be found. And though, fun fact, you can look my dad up. He's he just got out of jail a little bit ago. But he was in jail for defrauding the federal government. PPP loan scam. Funny, you can look him up. Durrell Baker. I'm not no joke. But
Okay.
yeah, no, for me, I know the bar is low. Don't be like my dad. Like actually be there, but I don't know what to do.
You just love your
maybe
kids. That's it. You just
yeah.
love your
Yeah.
kids.
So and again, that's like a lot of our podcast talks about. In episode 3, we all talk about our experience with our dads, and like there's a lot like for some of us, like Joe and I had very complex and somewhat similar experiences with you as you, um, and a number actually like of us had 3 of us had very complex experiences with our dad, and Eric had like a phenomenal dad. And so
Dad was a
like,
fucking saint.
yeah, yeah. And and again, but that can come with its own bear to cross or cross to bear.
Bear to cross. You're gonna.
I ain't
Better
crossing
up
her.
there,
Man.
cross.
Go.
I ain't
Just
crossing
sneaking
no
into the
bears.
house
I'm
at
coming
like 1
across
in the
you. Don't you
morning.
come at
and
me. Yeah, no.
He would meet me with his like he's got like full beard. He was looking like a fucking werewolf, and his eyes were all red. And he's like, "Your mother is very upset," and I'm like, "Fuck, I'm dead. I'm just fucking dead."
Oh boy.
But it can come with its own cross to bear, because there's a feeling of having to live up to that, right? And so like, because again, we all in some way, shape, or form, like I always say, like, for every kid, dad is Superman and mom is Mother Teresa, right? And so that's why it's so impactful when our parents don't live up to that, right? Because we always like, I think there is a movie or something like that called Searching for Superman or something like that. But it's about something different. But I think
Yeah, it's about school
especially,
choice.
yes, that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. So, but like, I think that's a good title and theme for especially like young men, and a lot of us young men, right, is that we're always searching for Superman, right? And so, and young women too, right? Because that's when you get in, because like I joke that like there's a song called Daddy Issues, and that should be our theme song or whatever for our show or whatever. But like but no, like I think guys and girls can both have daddy issues, in the sense that we're, like we're playing out these dynamics of trying to find a model, a role model for this, right? And so that's where this like village concept comes in, and kind of the theme of our podcast, of trying to like work those things out, right? And talk about those, our different experiences, and how can we be good fathers for our kids, right? And pass something on, right? And it's a real struggle for us men, right? And so like when you talked about, like when we talked about our isolation that we experience, and then you talked about like the camaraderie that you had in the Marines, right? It also made me think of when you talk about like athletes, right? Professional athletes, and like when they retire, and like they miss, the thing they miss the most is the locker room of everything, right? The camaraderie, like, and it go, and like when you think about it, it's like how we evolved as a species, right? And the men and our hunting parties, right? And that we were out for days search on these hunting parties. So you had this own internal tribal connection, right? Of living with these guys, building this collection, this group, right? And even in like militaries throughout history, like male camaraderie, right? That a lot of times we lose nowadays. And like as we get older, men lose that connection, and so things like stories like King of the Hill, why they're so impactful, because you've got these 4 guys sitting on by the fence drinking beers, and their neighbors, and they're all like over the place with their ideas, their experience, and stuff like that, but they come together because there's this support that they have, right? And that's an essential
I've been
thing.
to suburban Texas. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. I would say if there's anything I definitely want to teach them is, the value, as corny as it sounds, the value of friendship and maintaining
No,
how
absolutely.
important it is to maintain it. Because it's, life can be lonely, but it's nice when people are there, when you got people to talk to and such and such. And I definitely want them to not make the mistakes I did with regards to, letting relationships just disappear and then ending up alone as a result. You know what I mean? I don't want that for them, for sure.
Now, if you ask me for my advice, basically it boils down to you're gonna fuck up. You might even fuck up bad.
Yes.
Just accept that. But if you're worried that you're going to fuck up and you're worried that you're doing everything wrong, that means you're probably doing it right. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
as long as
Yeah.
you're worried about it, and that means that you're still being a parent. If you stop worrying about it and you're like, whatever, he'll just be fine, that's when you're being a bad parent.
Don't ever be
Right.
afraid to apologize to your child for your
Oh,
mistakes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
Yeah.
They
Oh.
will appreciate it and respect you more.
My
and they will
especially as
learn
they
to
get older.
apologize as adults. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, my mom
Mhm.
didn't apologize for shit. That was.
Yeah.
We
Dude.
still fought.
It's important.
her on
It's
that.
very
Yeah.
important. Yeah. I
No,
lose
okay.
my temper sometimes on my oldest, and I go too far, and I apologize to her for it. And
Absolutely,
she
yeah.
knows that that I didn't mean it like that, and that I still love her very, very much. Because at a certain age, they start to question how much you actually love them. And even if you reinforce it all the time that you love them, they'll even question it. Yeah, I can never expect a king of the hill. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so and you just love your kid, be interested in what they do, and be there. Just
Mhm.
presence is enough quite often.
Yeah.
So
All right.
just being
like-
there.
Yeah, be there and remember that you're human and you're gonna fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
talking to
Thank
them
you.
about it. So, because here's one of the things, like my kids know I have PTSD, right? And if you listen to episode 3, you will totally understand some, not even the full picture of why I have PTSD, but some of why I have PTSD. And my kids are aware that I have PTSD, and they know I go to I talk with a therapist, and I like that I've been doing my own work, right? And they know I go to a doctor for trying to be healthy, and they know I go to the gym, and we talk about nutrition. We talk about the things that I have to do for nutrition to get myself healthy, and this is what they need to do. And so my kids will even talk about they have a dessert day, right, where they're allowed to have their candies or whatever, right? They have a day where we set that off that they get 100 calories of candy, right? And so they're looking at, so we're talking about the nutritional labels and stuff like that. So they even at 11 and 8, almost 9, they are learning and understanding nutritional calorie counting and things like that, and the nutritional, not to get them obsessed about it, just so that they're learning this now so they can make healthy choices. So they'll talk to me about hey, for my lunch, this is what I picked up for my protein. Is that okay? This is what I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and they're like, okay, but Dad, I don't know what I need for my protein. And I'm like, sweetheart, let's look at this. Here's peanut butter. Let's go down. Peanuts are a protein, right? And we talked about how much protein it is, how much they, things like that. And so they're, and they're she's like, what? Nuts are a protein? I didn't realize that. And so it opened up her, that even opened up her world, because she loves eating nuts and stuff like that. And we talked about their fat content and being mindful of that. So how much is a serving, all these different things, so that she can make healthy choices, right? And that's, to me, is that you're not always going to be there, right? But your job is to be the shepherd, right? To use a religious terminology. I'm the one that actually goes to church. I'm Unitarian Universalist. And so I go to church with people that are atheist, agnostic, Jewish, Muslim.
Hey, I go to church too. Don't worry.
Yeah. And so Christian, all kinds of different stuff. So we that's what I like about Unitarian Universalists, is that it's all of us coming together to support each other in our journeys, and respect each other's paths, and learn from one another, and all this different stuff. That's just for me. And so I'll bring in religious, commentary. But anyways, to kind of be a shepherd for our children, so that when it's their turn to take over, they know how to they've got the tools that they need in order to take over, right? And so taking those moments when you're watching a show with them, right? Making sure start watching Bluey.
He was gonna say, I knew he was gonna say it.
That's gonna be essential. That's gonna be essential.
You need to be part of their marketing department.
I was babysitting my niece and nephew for a while, and we watched Baby Shark and Bluey so much.
Oh God.
Not Baby Shark.
Oh, yeah,
No.
Baby Shark. Okay. Oh my God, when that was really big. Oh,
I hate
my
Baby
girls
Shark.
loved it.
I
Don't
hate
miss. I don't miss those shows at all.
But no, but Bluey,
I don't mind
actually
Bluey.
love.
I don't
Bluey's,
mind
actually
Bluey.
Good show. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Baby Shark. I don't mind
Yeah.
Bluey, but I hate the fuck out of Baby Shark.
And
I
the thing
really
that's
liked
great about-
Peppa Pig. I thought that was a really good show.
Peppa Pig
It
was good too, yeah.
To jump in muddy puddles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything can be solved by jumping in muddy
No,
puddles.
just
in
be
that show.
carefree, relax.
Yeah.
You know, don't worry
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, if
you
there's
know.
something wrong, just go jump in some muddy puddles. So
Yeah.
And the beauty of watching those things is that it gives you a moment to talk about the story and make it a teachable moment, right?
And then you can
And
tell
that
them
to
what's
me-
in their ham sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
But that to me is like the
Let's
really
go have
important
some
thing is
bacon.
like all the teachable moments, right? Like and being present, and that's where
Mhm.
and like for me, one of the things I struggle with is I love sports. Like I watch sports. I would like if you let me, I would watch football because now football like is an entire Sunday, and so like I'm on the West Coast, so it starts crazy early and ends right before their bedtimes. So like I could be disappeared for an entire day and then just come in for like waking them up and be there for waking them up and for bedtime if I permitted it, right? Or like not I, but like I and my family permitted it. It's possible. And I really want my kids to like watch these things with me, but they'll never do it unless I get interested in their stuff.
Mhm.
Of
Right.
course. Got it. So it's
And
like a
so-
trade-off of sorts, you know. you
Exactly,
gotta-
right? You've got to show, and that's your responsibility. You have to show interest in what they want to do, and then they'll reciprocate it back.
Yeah, it's,
right?
it's
Okay.
kind of like almost like a friendship in that, like when you have friends, you do things that your friends enjoy, and they do things that you enjoy. So
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's a reciprocal relationship. So
I will
And
keep
one of-
that in mind for sure.
Mhm.
And one of the things for me, actually, Barbies is actually a triggering thing for me because of my experience and stuff like that. It's actually like playing. Like my daughter loves to play Barbies, and when I was younger, like when things were happening, like
I can't wait to
I-
see the Barbie movie personally.
yeah, no, I can't either, right? But no, but Barbie, like playing Barbies with my daughter is actually a very triggering thing. It actually, like, I've noticed, like, when I'm mindful, like, I'm getting hyper vigilant, all this different stuff, right? And my youngest loves Barbies, and so it's been a really painful experience for me to struggle with playing Barbies. And I've talked to her, like, I haven't gone into detail why Barbies is such a triggering thing for me, but I have talked to her that Barbies is a triggering thing. And so we've had to try and work on ways to incorporate. Like one of the things I did was I brought dice because now I turned it into like a D&D adventure, and we'll roll dice to see if something can happen. Like we'll want to say something, so I'm like, all right, let's roll the D20 and see if that happens, right? And like we'll put on like, and so like I'm blending D&D in a tabletop experience with trying to play Barbie. So it's like this, like making it a little bit more manageable for me, while like also incorporating like tabletop games with her.
now,
And so
now you need
that's
to go
what
get
we-
some He-Men and some GI Joes from back in the
Yeah.
day, and bring
No.
them in too. And
That's actually that's something that we talked about. Like my wife and I talked about with like getting some of the like comic book character
Mhm.
like toys, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then like I'm playing like the superhero stuff or whatever, and incorporating that in so that it's a little bit more manageable. Because that was one of my
Mhm.
escapes was comic books and finding finding.
you just
a
got to make sure they're at
superhero
the
that
same
you say-
scale as the Barbie.
Yes.
So,
Oh, for
absolutely.
sure,
They
for
are.
sure.
They are.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are. It's we walked through like Target recently trying to get things for our trip, and like sat there and saw like the toys, and my wife was like, "Why don't you get those and bring this? And you could bring this." I was like,
Good
it
point,
blew my
Becky.
mind. I was like, sorry.
So with all that being said, I want to say thank you all for that advice because like I said, I am nervous about it. I'm not gonna hold y'all.
You
up.
should be.
Yeah,
It's
I am.
terrifying.
Yeah,
when they're
It's
really
terrifying.
little and they literally rely on you for everything,
Yeah.
absolutely everything, from wiping their ass to feeding them. It can be
That's-
scary. It can be
that-
scary, and it can be overwhelming at times, especially if you have a child that's colicky or has any kind of issue,
Yes.
and cries incessantly, and it crying, like in my brain, after like 10 minutes triggers some sort of like fight
It
fight
will
or flight
break your
response.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's up to a certain point I'm just like, oh, let me help you, and then at one point it's like, I need to get away,
Yeah. No, my
Yeah.
niece, she kept trying to
Yeah.
run up the stairs, and I
Mhm.
would go catch her every
Yeah.
time. I was like, please God, if she
Oh,
falls down the
God.
stairs, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But like
Yeah.
stuff like that, it genuinely just being with them scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, man, when I have my kid, I'm going to be terrified of everything.
Now,
Yeah.
the one thing you should know is that babies are far more resilient than most
Yes.
people give them, credit for. They are very bouncy.
And they're
you
going to
accidentally-
hit their head a lot,
Yeah.
no matter what
you
you
walk
do.
through a door and you accidentally knock their head against a door frame. They'll cry, but they'll be fine.
The cartilage
Stage
helps them
dive
get
off
out,
the
but also
couch.
survive.
Dive
like,
off,
the
dive off
insanity.
the
Yeah,
couch. Dive off
my-
the couch. That
my
one
oldest-
scares me.
Even
my
when they're
oldest did
newborns,
a-
they'll roll off the couch.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
Ah,
My oldest literally dove off the couch head first when she was first started to learn how to walk and jump. She was jumping on the couch and like took a header off. you know?
It's so
Ah.
fucked up when they're babies. Like their
yeah.
heads are so big, they're so
Yeah.
top heavy. Whenever they fall, the first
They
thing
fall
they're gonna
head
hit
first, yeah.
is their fucking head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that? And that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
that shit right there. I'm
It's
like,
awful. Oh god, it's awful.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be sitting there. I'm staring at them while I'm watching.
Sleep.
motherfuckers.
You still believe in sleep? Forget that shit.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get any
that's
sleep.
Yeah.
That's
No.
gone. No,
For
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 years,
Like-
there won't be any.
you'll- you'll-
Yeah.
I took the night shift. So one of the things that we did was my
Mhm.
wife took the day shift and I took the night shift. Right.
Smart.
Yeah, with our first one, right? And like she was having, because our first one was early, was about
Mhm.
6 weeks early, so she was still counted as premature, right? And she was actually pretty small, and so she was having difficulty latching, so we ended up having to breast pump for her. And my wife could have been a dairy cow with the amount, like with the first one that she made. I was like, we had extra storage. We had to get a freezer for all the milk that she was producing. It was crazy. And not a lot of women were able to do that. Sometimes we'll struggle. And you, as a guy, you got to be supported for everything, right?
Yes.
Right.
She made so much extra that we had we even started like donating it to people. Like, hey, look, we've got extra. So for moms that couldn't make it, like, we had a whole bunch of extra in our freezer, so we were like donating it to people.
For some reason, I thought you were gonna say that you were making like baked goods and giving them out to the neighborhood.
Oh my god!
I turned into a farmer.
Help the baby butter.
No, like, no,
Like, oh, what you make it with? Milk. Oh,
It's
cool.
human.
What kind of, yeah, just milk. Don't ask
it's
what kind of
people.
milk.
It's Soylent Green milk out there. It's Soylent Green ice cream.
Come out with,
But no,
with
like,
natural organic coffee creamer.
There you go.
Oh,
It's all
God.
No.
Oh, it's all natural.
But
Oh,
so she
oh,
had,
no.
so she was pumping, and the beauty of that was that because she, like, the second one, like, she would breastfeed, and because she was so like kind of insistent and didn't like pumping because that was hard on her breast, she preferred to like breastfeed, and so that the second one I actually didn't get to help as much, so that like hurt our bonding, right? And so for me to be able to breastfeed not to breastfeed, for
I was
me
like,
to be
what?
able to-
Oh, wait.
so I did
Where is this going?
the meet the parents thing, and I had my fake boob that I like made for the kid. Like, no, like, no. For me to be able to like bottle feed my daughter, right? It actually, my oldest, she and I still to this day like have a really good and close bond, right?
Okay.
And so that was actually so like being able to blend that. Like even if your wife is is doing the breastfeeding, like being able to also pump, and you being able to at night being able to like let her sleep while you're up feeding at night, or whichever one does better or whatever. If one's a morning person, the other one, she's a morning person, I'm a night owl, and so like it was easier for me to do that. One of the things also that I had to do a lot of introspection of was when the baby was crying and me just getting so angry. And again, this was before I actually understood that I had PTSD. I was misdiagnosed initially. And so like I would get angry, and I had to do a lot of frustrated and angry. And I'm like, why am I frustrated and angry with a newborn? Like, the newborn's not doing anything. Why am I angry at this kid? Right? They're just, this is what the kid knows, right? This is the only way. And what I was angry about was not the kid, but I was angry at myself because I felt like I was failing my child. And that helped me with my anger so much more, that I was like, I'm not failing. I'm just doing the best that I can. And I'm just upset because my child is distressed and distraught. And I don't want her to feel that way. Right. And that to me is a big thing because also they have daddy boot camps that I think are essential. They're
Mhm.
great. And one
Oh,
of the
I
things
never heard
that
of that.
oh yeah
Yeah,
They
early
have daddy boot
parenting
camps.
classes for both. You can go
Yes.
as a couple. You know, they'll
No, good to
walk you
go.
through like delivery stuff, and then also, how
I
to.
love the daddy boot camps because it's a bunch of men coming together, and like some people brought their dads to it also, and so the leader of the group, like one of the things that impacted me like a lot is that he had a regular egg in a little Tupperware, and he would talk to us, and he was like would talk and like would gradually get a little bit more angry and a little bit more angry and like and you're listening to him and you're not paying attention to his hand, but as he's talking like we also use these like hand gestures and you're like, oh my god, I'm just so upset about this and I'm frustrated, and it starts to build up that then you sit there and then you all of a sudden, and as he's doing this, and then you all of a sudden realize, you look at your hand and you realize the egg is cracked.
Okay.
And he brought that up and you're all like, we weren't even paying attention to the egg. And it's like, that's how shaken baby syndrome happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
It's
don't
that
know
you're
if
not
y'all
even
went through
paying
this.
attention. And so
Yeah, I don't know if y'all did this in school, but I did. My school had the for our health class, they gave us, the fake babies to take care of.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And just overall, I got an A on it, and I was all in on that. But I will never forget when my mother's friend came over, saw my fake baby, picked it up, and started shaking it. I actually started crying. I freaked the fuck
No.
out.
Nice.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Thankfully, my mom definitely went off on her for doing that. But I'll never forget the just. I don't know. I got attached. It freaked me. I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's a
Like,
good thing.
That
Yeah.
is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
That
I
bodes
can,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign because that's how I was
Yeah.
just as a teenager. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It was nice. It was exhausting because the baby would start crying at random hours of the day.
Yeah.
But but it was nice. So I am looking forward to it. I just I got to get over my fear because I am terrified, and that's like that above all is
That's
my
normal.
biggest. Yeah, it's the fear that I'm just so terrified of anything hurting the kid.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
And-
like
and
you
one of
will
the-
be terrified, and it is terrifying, but at the same time it's also wonderful, and you will not want to do anything else. So
Gotcha.
and like one of the things that I want to put out there, because I think listening to my fellow guys and my friends that I've known for years, that I've kind of picked up on, is that like
Thank you, Baked Bean.
you like, and through it all, you are always welcome to, like, if you want to say like, hey, can I come into one of your recordings and join in? We talk about some stuff or whatever, because some things have been like happening and like getting some advice on that or whatever. Like, you are always welcome, because I think, again, like the whole point of this is like we want to help men be good dads, right? And again, like when the Andrew Tate stuff started happening, we're like, I think all of us want to put something out counter to the Andrew Tate mantra of what a man is, because men are phenomenal nurturers.
Yeah.
And we get neglected, like that's part of us that gets neglected, right?
Yeah.
And
No, it's
we
because
get
a lot of.
go ahead.
I was gonna. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just
No,
gonna
you're
say
fine. Do it.
a lot of guys I just don't get it personally. But I've never understood the appeal of guys like Andrew Tate. I've met plenty of fucking blowhard, self-centered asshats in the military like him.
Sure.
I just don't see the appeal. I don't get it, but a lot of guys do for some reason. And I'm like, when did being basically a pimp become cool to people? When did that? What? But that's whatever. I guess
but
some
again,
people are into
it's
that.
because we're taught that we're not allowed to express our emotions, and the only emotion that we're allowed to express is anger, which is a secondary emotion, because anger is covering up and allowing us to escape from our actual feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, my anger with my child as she's crying isn't, I'm not angry at my child. I'm angry with me because I feel sad, because I feel like I'm neglecting my child. But
Yeah.
anger is the way that I'm permitted to express the emotion, rather than going like, why am I failing my child? Like, why can't I help her? And I hate this, and it hurts me. It hurts me to hear my child cry. I never want to hear my child cry, but I know that's just part of the package, right? And acknowledging that hurt, acknowledging that pain is okay, right?
Yeah.
And it means that I love my child, right? It means that I have this immense capacity for love, nurturing, caring, all of these positive emotions, and that's a good thing. That's what we men are good at.
Yeah.
We are really good at being supportive, loving, protective, guardians. Like, we want to step in and be good caretakers, right?
I'm gonna try my best. But on
That's all
that
you
note,
can do.
Yeah, it's
on that note, it's been almost 3 hours. So
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really long.
I am going to take a nap now. And
Yeah.
then so once I'm back up, I got a lot of stuff to do with my platform that I need to fix because I've been procrastinating this project, but I got to get it done at some point.
I hear you.
As I said before, including you, Baked Bean, every last one, either one of y'all are welcome on my show at any time. If y'all want to talk about any specific thing, I don't give a shit because y'all are all cool dudes. Y'all definitely got get a thumbs up from me. This whole time being here, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling all y'all. No homo.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now we have some of that, but not all.
Maybe a dash of homo, but whatever. But
Oh,
yes.
you haven't
Yeah,
heard
we're
about
not gonna
my love
yuck
of Kevin Costner.
nobody's
And so, like,
Yeah, you haven't.
guys, he's
You haven't
getting
heard
a
half of it.
divorce. Oh,
Oh,
it's
Scott, you have a
ruining
chance.
this.
Oh, it's your window, Scott.
My
You have a
window is
window.
open.
You
He
have a
has heard my
chance.
calls of my love for him. He
There
will
we
be
go.
Is it-
on-
Is he still
Is it
performing
legal to
live?
have a husband and a wife in Washington or
Oh, you know what? You know what? We're gonna figure it out.
We'll
Polygamy.
figure it out.
We'll
little
Love-
figure it out.
triangle there? Yeah,
Love
okay.
always wins. You'll
That's
figure it
right.
out.
That's right.
But for sure, guys, if anyone wants
Yeah.
to find me, because I know some of y'all just aren't on Twitter, on Facebook, literally just look up my name. I am Dorico Baker. My channel is Rico Rants, and yeah, I am easy to reach. I'm always by my phone, so if any point in time y'all want to reach out to me, just send me a message. We can go from there.
Perfect. Yeah. No. It's
This
same
has
here,
been an
man.
awesome
Like,
chat. That's why it went so
Yeah.
freaking long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I know,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
You lose track. I know. We never actually like started. We were like, okay, we're just gonna do our pre-show, and then we're just gonna.
This whole thing became the
switch
show,
over.
yeah.
It
The
just
whole
became
thing.
the show. Like, it
Yeah,
was great. So
I dig. So hey, y'all take care, okay?
Yeah,
Much
you
love.
too.
All right.
much love?
Yep.
All right.
Peace.
all right, everybody, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
What's this?
Bye.
Leave and